Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, channel 84.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Packed house tonight as the Blue Jays host the Athletics for the second game of this 4-game series. Toronto is going to have a tough time coming up with an encore. They put on quite the show in the opener, winning yesterday 12-0. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and welcome to downtown Toronto. Alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Roger Lajoie is our host tonight. Nick Blackmore is our producer. Tom Young and Christian Chiniti are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Fort Erie and Dunnville. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Chris Bassett, the longtime Athletic, takes the mound tonight against his former team, going up against a former Red Sox and Ray left-hander Jeffrey Springs, who the Blue Jays know well and who might be the toughest starter they'll see in this 4-game set. We got lineup standings, first pitch on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca, on the Sportsnet app, and on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Looking back to that outing in Tampa, he wasn't landing his breaking ball. He had a tough time with he's sweating everywhere. Tough time getting a grip on the ball. So with the lefties, to me, cutter curveball split, and then, use your fastball accordingly. And I think having a normal environment, well, I shouldn't say normal, but having a familiar environment is always a good thing for him. And I think that, these guys feed off each other in terms of our starters. I think watching what Kev did in Texas, watching what Hosey did last night, and kind of how we pieced the last game together in Texas, Chris is ready to kind of take his turn and give us a good one.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider joining Blair and Barker earlier today, talking about Chris Bassett, who gets the ball against the Athletics in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, it wasn't the best from Bassett in his last time out, gave up a season-high 5 earned runs. But mixed with the heat, the really short offensive innings that the Blue Jays bats were putting together, it didn't feel like an accurate representation of what's been the most consistent Blue Jays starter this year.
Right, and I think John Schneider is right in saying it was really warm. The atmosphere just didn't feel like a big league ballpark. A lot of times players, specifically pitchers, are standing out there. They're looking around. They're playing in this tiny ballpark. The atmosphere is a little different. You don't feel like yourself. Look, that sounds like excuses, but that's just the way it is. So Chris Bassett needs to come out tonight, pound the strike zone with that fastball like he's done the majority of his starts this season. Maybe mix in that cutter to the top of the strike zone, and he's going to get out here with a W.
Chris Bassett taking the hill for the Blue Jays. We'll get to the lineup in a sec, but first, the Bet365 standings. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees are 35-20 atop the division. In second place, the 29-27 Tampa Bay Rays, 6.5 back. The Jays are 28-28. They're 7.5 back. The Red Sox 27-31, 2 games behind Toronto, and the Orioles 19-36. For the A's, they're 5th in the AL West, 23-34, 8 back of Seattle. City Connect Friday, the Blue Jays jogging out onto the field. Who's in the lineups tonight, Chris? Starting with Mark Kotsay's Athletics.
Love a good City Connect night. For the Athletics, leading off is Lawrence Butler. He's in right field. Shortstop, batting second is Jacob Wilson. Batting third is Brent Rooker. He's DHing tonight. In the cleanup spot is Tyler Soderstrom. He's at first base. Behind the dish is Shea Langoliers. He's hitting fifth. Hitting sixth is C.J. Alexander. He's at third base. At second base is Logan Davidson. He's batting seventh. Batting eighth is Drew Avens. He's in left field. And batting ninth, the Toronto native Denzel Clark is in center field. On the mound is lefty Jeffrey Springs. For the Jays, Bo Bichette is at shortstop. He's leading off. Batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's at first base tonight. DHing batting third is George Springer. Behind the dish, in the cleanup spot is Alejandro Kirk. Dalton Varsho is batting fifth in center field. At second base, batting sixth is Ernie Clement. Batting seventh is Addison Barger. He's at third base tonight. In left field, batting eighth is Miles Straw. And hitting ninth is Nathan Lucas. He's in right field for the Jays. On the mound is righty Chris Bassett.
For Chris Bassett, it's start number 12 on the season. 4-3 with a 3.38 ERA in 61 and a third innings pitched. The 6'5", 217-pound right-hander is 36 years old, born in Toledo, Ohio. He's punched out 63 guys this year while only walking 13 of them, and that's been a huge part of his success.
Well, he's been outstanding for the majority of this season. Last start, he didn't seem like himself. We talked about this actually on the broadcast. He was fighting something, really fighting those mechanics, grinding through the start. I'm assuming in this beautiful atmosphere, the roof is open now. You have a ton of fans. He's feeling all right on that mound right now.
And he's facing a team he knows very well. He was in Oakland Athletic for 6 seasons, 2015 to 2021. He missed all of 2017, if you're wondering if I miscounted there, including his lone All-Star season in 2021. Was part of those Marcus Semien, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman A's teams that were strong in the late 2000s, or 2010s. Bassett on the hill, left-handed hitter Lawrence Butler steps in. The wind and the pitch. Foul tipped, strike one. Time of the first pitch today, 7:08 Eastern, and thank goodness they opened the roof about 30 minutes before the game. 18 degrees, it's gray skies, but great to have the dome open. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Should be some wind today. Not seeing a lot of movement from the pennants out in center field, but fairly breezy on the walk-in. Right-hander Bassett steps to the left, kicks, and offers to Butler, who foul tips it again, 0-2.
It's a pretty good location right there. He's looking like a different pitcher at least 3 pitches into this ball game so far.
We saw him in his last start, crouched or hunched over on the mound at times. The Rays were really running it up, and then the Blue Jays would come in and go down 1-2-3 in order. He'd be right back on the hill. The 1-2. Swinging a liner, knocked down by Bassett. It's just off to the first base side of him. He underhand flips it over to first for the out. Hard liner hit by Butler. Bassett calling off the training staff. He knocked that one down with his glove, so I think he's all right.
That's a pretty nice play. A little nonchalant out there at first base. Knocked it down, slowly got to that baseball, underhanded it to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first base for a first out of the ball game.
I think it kind of hit near the thumb part of his glove, but he does have a pretty big glove, so I don't know if his hand was actually hit on that one. His pitch to Jacob Wilson, called a strike, 0-1.
You know what? I've never noticed that, but I just looked at it, and it does look a little bit larger than most gloves.
You know, especially infielders. He's a pitcher, not really an infielder, but infielders have smaller gloves, so his stands out. 0-1 to Wilson. Fouled away, 0-2. Top of the first inning, 1 out, bases empty. This first inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Something he didn't do in his last start, filling up the strike zone early. He's thrown 5 strikes to 1 ball so far in this ball game.
2-strike pitch, fouled away. 94 on the outside edge with a 4-seamer. Not a pitch he's using a ton this year. It's mostly sinker, cutter, curve. But he's mixing in the splitter, mixing in the 4-seamer. You'll still see the occasional sweeper, slider, or change. 0-2 again. Down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes as he threw the sweeper that time.
The 4-seamer is a really effective pitch if you can throw it to the top of the strike zone. It's almost like it has another gear. Stays true, stays straight. I mean, that one right there to Jacob Wilson, a very good hitter, almost got past him.
Wilson really tough to strike out. The 1-2. Fouled away. Had Wilson way out in front on that 72-mile-an-hour curve, but the top of his bat might have hit that ball as it rolled off to the right.
You can see in Chris Bassett's face right now that he is locked in.
John Schneider had mentioned it off the start of the broadcast. Blue Jays starters feed off of each other. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dials it up to 93. Top of the zone with the sinker. And gets Wilson 2 down.
And that's a good sinker, too. Started off the plate outside and then came back over the outer third. And Jacob Wilson just whiffed.
Well, those starters feeding off of each other, they almost have a little bit of a friendly competition. And you're asking for a lot out of Bassett if he's competing with what Jose Barrios did yesterday. 6 shutout innings, 9 Ks. First pitch to Brent Rooker, hit very high out to right field. Nathan Lucas walking toward the line, makes the catch, and ends the inning. Ground out, strikeout, fly out in the first. Chris Bassett sets down the A's in order. We go to the bottom of the first inning with Bo Bichette leading off. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner.
Hey baseball fans, thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon. Welcome in to our live hangout this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever it is that you're watching from all over the world. We appreciate you being here. We are growing a massive Toronto Blue Jays community, and we are so glad that you found us. Please help us continue to grow this awesome place to hang out every single Blue Jays game, game 1 through 162. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that like, and share this link out. Whether it's to friends via text message, put it out on social media, whatever platform that you use, because good Lord, there's so many of them. Or maybe you don't use any at all, and that's fine. We appreciate you all being here, liking, sharing, helping grow this awesome group of Toronto sports fans from all over the world. Now let's get back to the baseball. Go Blue Jays, go! Let's get the win!
Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Roger Lajoie, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. Bo Bichette leading off against Jeffrey Springs. Checks his swing on a fastball called strike one. Home plate up today is John Libka. Sean Barber at first, Tom Hanahan at second, crew chief James Hoy at third. The wind from Springs, and the lefty's 0-1. Swing and a fly ball out to right field. Shuffling back Butler, stops in place, makes the catch, 1 out. For Jeffrey Springs, this is start 12 on the year, 5-3 with a 3.97 earned run average. When you look at this rotation, he brings some experience and definitely some much-needed consistency.
Yeah, and he's not overpowering. That fastball sits about 90, 91 miles an hour, but he's deceptive. And I think that's the biggest thing. He's actually had a pretty solid career going back to about 7 or 8 years ago.
Left-hander on the third base side of the rubber faces Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Glove overhead, he kicks and offers. Fastball, called a strike at 92. Might even be a tick up right now in fastball velocity. On the season, he's averaged 89.9 on his fastballs. Next pitch is poked out to right center. Broke the bat of Vlad, but it drops in right with a lot of spin for a base hit. He got that one off the end of the bat. You could see how much it was spinning because it bounced and took a right turn, but Lawrence Butler still got in front of it. It's a 1-out single.
Actually, a pretty good pitch from Springs. A changeup down and away. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was way out in front of it. Like you said, broke his bat, but he'll take that all day long.
For Vladdy, now 30 games in a row he's been on base, a streak that's included 6 homers, 13 RBIs, and 22 runs scored. He's the first Blue Jay to get on base in 30 straight games since 2015 Edwin Encarnacion. George Springer up, 1 out, 1 on. Springs working from the stretch now, kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Anytime you hear last time since Edwin Encarnacion, usually it's pretty good company. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. George Springer DHing today. Wouldn't be shocked if he DHs a fair bit now with the news that Anthony Santander is on the 10-day injured list. 1-1. Check swing. Called strike at the bottom of the zone, 1-2.
Had a pretty good ball game yesterday, 2 for 5 with a home run. An RBI. Let's hope that he's really seeing the ball better now.
Hit his 6th home run, drove in his 19th RBI of the year. 1-2 pitch is hit very high, deep out to right field, but slicing foul into the second deck deep down the line. Still 1-2. That was the 4-seamer from Springs. He's got a slider, a change, a sweeper, and a cutter as well. Traded from the Rays to the A's in the offseason. Some prospects went the other way. 1-2. Foul back.
Springs throws way across his body, and that's why his pitches are so tough to pick up, and that's really why he's so effective. I mean, he's really been good over the course of his career. 28-15 career record, a 3.48 ERA. That's pretty solid.
And almost 400 innings pitched. Bounced around a little. This is his 4th team. Debuted in 2018. His 1-2. Called strike 3, 91 right at the top of the zone. Springer's still in the box. He does not like it, but it'll count as a strikeout either way, 2 down.
I think that's a strike. That's a pitcher's pitch at the top of the strike zone, that inside corner. Shea Langoliers pointed out at Springs after he made that pitch. A really nice pitch. I think George Springer will go back to that iPad and realize that that's a strike.
2 down, bottom of the first, no score. Guerrero on first, and the pitch to Alejandro Kirk is outside, ball 1. In some ways, it's pretty remarkable Jeffrey Springs has made this career for himself. He was a 30th rounder by the Rangers in 2015 out of Appalachian State in North Carolina. Next pitch outside again, 2-0. His signing bonus was not $1 million, not a couple $100,000, not $80,000. He signed for $1,000.
I was going to guess $5,000.
2-0. High, 3 balls, no strikes.
And offhand, I know I could look this up. It's very easy to look up. But offhand, I don't know any big leaguers outside of Springs from Appalachian State. Don't look it up. I don't want you to look it up.
I have in my notes how many there are. So there have been 9. 9 Mountaineers to make the majors. 3-0. Called a strike, 3-1. Yeah, it's not necessarily a factory of major league players coming out of Appalachian State. Three-1 count. Springs, the lefty, looks at Guerrero on first in the pitch. Kirk checks his swing. The pitch is high and outside, ball 4. Kirk down to first, Guerrero up to second with 2 outs.
Kirk is really seeing the baseball well right now. 3 for 3 in yesterday's ball game with a walk. Takes another walk against Jeffrey Springs on a tough fastball just outside of the strike zone.
Springs will get his first left-on-left matchup now as Dalton Varsho comes up to the plate. First and second, 2 outs. No score, bottom of the first, the pitch. Swing and a pop fly, foul left side. Well over the third base dugout and back into the 20th, maybe 22nd or 23rd row of seats. 0-1. Blue Jays have a handful of lefties in the lineup today. Springs is actually pretty split neutral. 0-1. Hit on the ground softly to second. Coming in, Logan Davidson has it. Tosses over to Soderstrom at first to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left for the Blue Jays. No score after the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is the Grateful Dead channel. We can do anything we want.
Join the long, strange trip.
I need a miracle every day.
Hi, this is Bobby Weir.
I'm Bill Kreitzman. This is Mickey Hart.
On the band's exclusive home on Sirius XM.
Sugar Magnolia, blossoms bloom.
We do it for those moments of amazing stuff.
Touch of parade.
The Grateful Dead channel, Sirius XM 23, and at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cracker Barrel 400 from Nashville Super Speedway on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the Sirius XM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
That Radio Network.
It's the second inning presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Scoreless ball game, top of the second. Blue Jays and A's. Tyler Soderstrom will lead off with Shea Langoliers and C.J. Alexander to bat this inning for the Athletics as well. Chris Bassett rocks and offers. First pitch fastball at 93, strike one. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. There are so many Vladdy hockey jerseys around the ballpark right now. A 1 pitch. Check swing, pitch was high, appeal to third. No swing, says James Hoy, 1-1. And the lines, Chris. The people were committed.
Do not get me started on those lines, Ben.
They were long. They were down a block or two or more. 1-1. Swing and a deep drive by Soderstrom. Right center field. Varsho going back. So is Lucas at the wall. It is gone. Solo home run for Tyler Soderstrom. His 11th of the season, and the A's strike first. It's 1-0.
Well, that ball got out of here in a hurry. A splitter that was at the bottom of that strike zone. Tyler Soderstrom, who has a lot of power, his 11th home run of the season, goes down, and he golfs it out of here to right center.
Really not a bad pitch. Pretty impressive by Soderstrom to get under that ball. It could have been below the zone, or at least near the lower third of the zone.
Chris Bassett was actually smiling.
You don't see that from him in the best of times. Pitch to Shea Langoliers is fouled back. 0-1. So 1-0 for the Athletics. Blue Jays have pitched 4 shutouts in the last 10 days. They will not get a 5th one today. A 1 pitch. And the catcher and right-handed hitter takes outside, 1-1. Road grays today for the Athletics, but still a bright yellow undershirt and yellow batting gloves standing out for Langoliers. 1-1. Slow breaking ball misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. Langoliers also has bright yellow cleats, and he's hiked up his pant legs so you can see the green socks with the A's logo and yellow stripes at the top. The 2-1. Check swing, pitch was high, 3 balls, 1 strike. The pitch, inside ball 4 after the homer, a walk to Langoliers, and a strong start to the frame for the Athletics.
Yeah, he kind of lost it a little bit there to Langoliers. Wasn't pounding the strike zone as much as he was. Maybe a little bit timid after that home run to Soderstrom. He's going to have to lock back in here.
He'll face another left-handed hitter in C.J. Alexander. Langoliers was batting right, but Soderstrom, who homered off this inning, hit from the left side. The pitch to C.J. Alexander, high ball 1. Alexander playing in his 5th game of the season. He mans third base today. It's his 9th career Major League game. 2 for 9 this year, 3 for 27, or 3 for 17 rather, overall as a big leaguer. And he'll ask for time after the first pitch. Long hair coming out of the back of the helmet for Alexander. He holds the bat just off of his chest, bringing it up slightly now as Bassett kicks and offers. Foul tip. Cutter over the middle. It's 1-1.
Some pretty good power for C.J. Alexander in the minor leagues. Last year, he hit .302, 19 home runs, 68 RBIs.
And this season, started at AAA, only up recently, 10 homers in 42 games. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Got him out in front on a breaking ball. 1-2.
Some people will say, yeah, but it's Vegas.
And look, there's something to that.
There is.
But it doesn't take everything away. You know, when you hit in Colorado, there's something to it, but you're not going to hit 45 home runs and be a bad power hitter. 1-2 pitch. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. You pitch in Vegas?
I've never pitched in Vegas, ever.
Good for you.
Ever. I was traded. So I played in Colorado Springs in 2015, and I was traded the day before my team went to Vegas.
2-2 called. Strike 3. Bassett freezes Alexander on a sinker on the inner half. 1 down.
All my plans were ruined. All my Vegas plans that weekend were ruined because because I went to Lehigh Valley.
You know what? Your ERA, thank you, I'm sure. So you don't know how Vegas would compare to Colorado? You have an idea at all?
Although Colorado Springs was my home field, and that's probably as bad as Vegas, if not worse.
Pitch to Logan Davidson. Switch hitter batting left, takes down an in-ball 1. 1-0 A's on the leadoff homer in this second inning by Tyler Soderstrom. Langoliers is on first. He walked, and there's 1 out. Bassett from the stretch, looks to home, kicks and offers. That one is drilled foul, left side, fading into the seats, deep down the left field line, 1-1. Davidson, another guy, not a lot of big league experience. This is his 5th game of the season as well, and it's the 5th game overall in his career. He is a career 2-for-6 as a big leaguer with a double, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. A look at first, the 1-1. Hit on the ground to second. Clement picks it up. Tries to tag Langoliers. Throw over to first in time. And that's a double play. They say Langoliers was off the baseline. So Ernie Clement helps turn a 4-3 double play to end the inning. A's on the board, though. Solo shot by Soderstrom. It's 1-0 Athletics. Middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Only Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus bring you every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Things really starting to heat up. The quest continues.
There's some bad blood. There's some animosity. There's some rivalries.
For hockey's ultimate prize.
Great players know that playoffs are a time to shine.
Great play and he scores! Wow! From 16 teams to 1 champion.
You cannot script this stuff.
Watch or stream every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swinging a fly ball, right field.
It's go! On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning in downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Still bright skies overhead, a little bit gray. Blue Jays trying to come back now, down 1-0 following a Tyler Soderstrom solo homer. Inning ended, though, on a double play. Ernie Clement went to tag the runner Langoliers in the baseline, then threw over to first. Langoliers shuffled to the right to get out of his way. They called him off the baseline. Mark Kotze was not a fan of the call. He went all the way out to second base in between the innings and really spoke his mind to Tom Hanahan.
I thought it was a good call.
All right. I kind of understood Kotze's frustration, but it is what it is. Ernie Clement is leading off. Jeffrey Springs, the lefty, glove overhead, kicks and deals, and the first pitch hit foul, back behind home into the 200-level seats. 0-1.
I guess my question to you is, would you have gone all the way out to second base to argue?
In my fantasy where I'm a manager, I'm getting tossed all the time.
That's a weird fantasy.
0-1. Swing and a line drive. Right center field. Down for a base hit. Bouncing into the gap. That one will roll all the way to the track. Clement checking the ball as he gets to second. He's going to stop there. I think he was thinking about a triple for a moment. But either way, another extra base knock for Ernie. He's on second with nobody out.
How about Ernie Clement? His 9th double this season. He was 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs in last night's ball game. Just takes that tough pitch on the outer third and hammers it in the gap in right center. What a swing.
So Clement on second. That draws Jacob Wilson, the shortstop, closer to the bag to try to hold him on. And now Addison Barger's up. A look back at second, the pitch. Down and away, ball one. Addison Barger, left-handed hitting third baseman, hitting .266 this year in 35 games, .750 OPS with a pair of homers. 1-0. Down and away again, 2 balls, no strikes.
I guess John Schneider was listening to the broadcast last night because I suggested, should Addison Barger be playing more often against lefties?
Although Varsho, Barger, and Lucas are in the lineup, but I'm happy to say you made the change. 2-0. High and outside, ball 3. Doesn't really matter who's hitting right now. It's been big misses from Jeffrey Springs. 1-0 for the Athletics, bottom of the second. Nobody out. Ernie Clement with his hands on his knees at second. Extends the lead slightly. Wilson tapping the glove behind him. 3-0. Fastball low, ball 4. Barger takes a 4-pitch walk, his 10th of the year, and it's first and second, nobody out.
Not one of those pitches was really close. Even that 3-0 pitch was his best pitch of the at-bat, and missed by quite a bit below that strike zone.
So Springs will try to work out of trouble. Marcotte would love some length from his starter today after only getting an inning and 2/3 out of Jacob Lopez yesterday. Infield in slightly. Corners pinched in more. Miles Straw's up. The pitch. Swinging a liner. Center field. Base hit. Ernie Clement's getting the wave. Throw to the plate. Denzel Clark bounces in. Not in time. Head first slide in a home. It's an RBI single for Straw, who gets up to second on the throw. All the way to third goes Barger. It's a 1-1 game.
Well, Carlos Fablis, the third base coach, changed his mind. He had the stop sign up for Ernie Clement rounding third base, and he immediately changed it as he touched third base. A good call from him. He saw Denzel Clark bobble that ball out in center field. Ernie Clement slides in head first just before that throw.
And then both runners smartly advanced on the throw. So now it's second and third, nobody out, and the infield's in. Nathan Lucas to the plate. The pitch. Hooked on the ground toward first. That's just foul. Soderstrom gloved it wide of the line. That was looking dangerous for a second, like it might be one of those choppers that tight ropes the chalk. Lucas, the 9-hitter in the Blue Jays order, left-handed hitting right fielder. .263 average, .777 OPS. 95 at-bats this year. 0-1. Foul tipped, 0-2.
Athletics have the infield in right now with runners on second and third and nobody out in this inning. That tells you just how important those runs are.
Creates a lot of space in between the infield and the outfield if Lucas can shorten up and dunk something in. Barger on third, Straw on second. The 0-2 is flipped foul just over the netting into the seats, third base side.
It's a pretty good job even getting to that pitch. You can tell that he has that short, compact swing, the two-strike approach, getting to that fastball above the strike zone.
Springs is looking to strike him out, but that's not really Springs' game. 48 strikeouts this year in 60 innings. He has one already tonight, his 0-2. Line shot foul into the seats, just over the netting, off the hand of a fan, and deflects a couple rows back.
I bet Nathan Lucas wants that pitch back. That was fastball, 92 miles an hour, almost right down the middle.
Lucas potentially sitting spin, looking for that slider. He's hit very well off breaking balls and off-speed pitches this season. 0-2 again. Poked on the ground to short. Diving stop. Wilson checks both runners. Tosses over to first for the out. Heck of a play from Jacob Wilson. 1 out.
Well, a really nice play from Jacob Wilson, but an even better job from Addison Barger over there at third base, making sure that that ball didn't get through. He didn't go on contact, and he didn't assume that that ball would get through. Runners on second and third, and now 1 out. That's a big play in this inning.
Not guaranteed, but a higher chance he's off on contact now with 1 out. Second and third for the Blue Jays. 1-1 game, and the pitch to Bo Bichette. Outside, ball 1. 1 out in the bottom of the second. A lot of the time, almost all the time with 1 out, they go on contact. You wonder, though, because Vlad is on deck, if maybe they played a little more conservative. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Good changeup there from Springs. Broke away from the right-handed hitting Bichette. 1-1.
To your point, I would say there's probably an 85 to 90% chance he's going on contact.
Because there's one out?
Just because there's one out, yeah.
Infield still in. Springs the lefty, kicks and offers. Up and in, Bolin back out of the way. 2 balls, 1 strike.
But you do make a good point. With Vladimir Guerrero Jr. standing on deck, do you really want to chance that? I don't know. That's why I gave that 15% chance that it doesn't happen.
Usually I'd say it's going to be going on contact. 2-1. Up and in, ball 3. Bichette limboed so far back that he actually snapped forward across the plate, had to take a walk around the dirt circle. It's 3-1.
I would imagine that Springs is going to be careful here in a 3-1 count. He might get an off-speed pitch, but then again, you don't want to walk the bases loaded with Vlad coming up next.
3-1 count, 1 out. Pitch home. Outside, ball 4. Tried to throw a backdoor slider and missed. Bichette with a walk to load the bases with 1 out for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That'll draw a mound visit right now, which means, Chris, you got early duty coming on here already in the 2nd inning.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. It's the return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All you can eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
AL East final already today. The Baltimore Orioles actually pushed up their start time because of rain in the forecast. Rain in Baltimore, who would have thought? So they took on the White Sox starting at 4:30, and they defeated the White Sox 2-1. Other AL East game going on right now. The Red Sox visiting the Braves. Big rivalry weekend rematch, Chris. Boston and Atlanta. It's 1-0 right now for Atlanta in the first. Mound visit over, 1-1 game, Blue Jays and A's. Bottom of the 2nd, out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Vladdy at the plate, bases loaded, the pitch. Swing and a foul ball off to the right. Hanging slider, Springs catches a break. It's 0-1.
Vlad just missed that pitch. Like you said, a hanging slider. I think he's a little bit lucky that he got that at the bottom of that strike zone. Vlad just missed it.
Vlad broke his bat, but flipped one to shallow right in the first for a single. 0-1. Check swing, just outside. Little Soto shuffle. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a good take and a good pitch, too. Good changeup just off the plate.
Vlad receiving his Tip O'Neill Award before the game. Scott Crawford, Director of Operations at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, will join us in the 3rd. 1-1. Check swing. Called a strike, 1-2. $25 RBIs this season for Guerrero, 2nd on the team to Bo Bichette. Bichette on 1st, Straw on 2nd, Barger on 3rd. 1 out. Vladdy taps the plate before the 1-2 pitch. Looking out to Springs, who's hunched over. Now the lefty sets at the belt. Springs kicks and deals. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. After Vladdy's hit in the 1st inning, he's a career 3 for 13 against the former Ray and Red Sox, among other teams. Jeffrey Springs does have 1 home run off of him. 2-2. Outside again, ball 3.
You have to give him something he can hit now. You don't want to walk a run in.
Bases loaded, 1 out. The crowd getting louder. They can feel it. Full count with the bases loaded. Springs in the set. His pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Foul, first base side, and that's going to get out of play. So they'll do it again at 3-2.
I tell you what, that is a great pitch. A changeup 3-2 with the bases loaded, 1 out in this inning. You have to have a lot of confidence in that pitch to throw it. That was about as perfect as you could throw it. Vlad almost swung and missed at that pitch.
Guerrero taps the plate twice. Little underhanded swing, brings the bat above his right shoulder. The 3-2 again. Low, ball 4, and the Blue Jays take a 2-1 lead on an RBI walk from Guerrero.
How about that at bat from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., clapping his hands as he gets to first base, pumped about that walk, took a good fastball just below the strike zone. 2-1 Blue Jays.
Already the 4th walk in the game for Jeffrey Springs. It's the 3rd time this year that he's walked 4 in an outing. That's his season high. Still bases loaded, 1 out. George Springer up, swings and misses. Strike 1. Nice response from the Blue Jays. Gave up 1 in the top of the 2nd. They've scored 2 here in the bottom. And they want more. Straw on 3rd. Bichette on 2nd. Guerrero on 1st. Lefty Springs kicks, delivers. Springer checks his swing. It's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Straw leading off in foul territory, the lead runner. Bichette gets a big lead at 2nd, so does Guerrero at 1st. 1-1. Call to strike, 1-2.
Springer didn't like that call, but again, that's a good pitch at the top of the strike zone on the inside corner.
Similar location to the pitch he struck out on looking in the 1st. He didn't like that call either. 1-2. Down and away.
Maybe he didn't go back to the iPad and see where that pitch was like I said he would.
Or maybe he just doesn't trust the iPad. It's possible. Springs bends his knees. Now stands tall in the stretch. 2-2. Poked out to right field, pretty shallow near the line. Sprinting in Butler. Soderstrom, the first baseman, going out. Butler lets that one fall in. No, he made the catch. Tagging from 3rd, Straw to the plate. Up to 3rd goes Bichette. That was an awkward one. Not even a dive. He almost crumpled down to the ground to make the catch. A bit of a late signal from Sean Barber. But good base running from Bo and Straw, and the Blue Jays thinking about a challenge right now to see if that ball got down. They will not challenge, so it's a sac fly for Springer on one of the most awkward and difficult catches we've seen this year.
Well, Jacob Wilson also just threw that baseball to C.J. Alexander. C.J. Alexander, the 3rd baseman, touched 3rd base to make sure that Miles Straw did tag from 3rd base. Home plate umpire James Hoy said that he did tag up, so that's a clean run right there. 3-1 Blue Jays now.
It wasn't pretty, but they all count the same. 3-1 on the Springer sac fly. Guerrero on 1st, Bichette on 3rd. 2 down, and the pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Outside, ball 1.
That was one of the weirder plays I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was just kind of hard to tell if he actually caught it, not just for us, but for the base runners as well. Kirk with a walk today. Entered this game batting .297. The pitch. Fouled back. Big hack from Kirk down on his right knee. He pops back up 1-1.
Can you tell that he's confident?
If I didn't before, I do now.
It's a big George Springer hack right there, falling to that back knee.
He's hitting .371 in May, but he's only got 1 homer. Maybe he's trying to change that. 1st and 3rd, 2 down, the 1-1. High and outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Action going in the Athletics pen already. Jeffrey Springs about to throw his 50th pitch of the game with 2 outs in the 2nd. And now he's going to be reminded by John Lipka to make sure that the batter is looking out at him before he gets ready to throw the pitch, so they'll do it again. Springs bends his knees, leans into the plate. And now he's going to get a pitch clock violation. He did the same thing. You're supposed to wait in the pitch clock rules until the batter is alert to you, and then you get going. And now he's taking a second behind the hill. I don't think he's very happy with that assessment of how things happen. The ball makes it 3-1 instead of 2-1.
Let's see if Kirk gets big here.
It's a big change in the count. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4. Bases are loaded again. It's the 5th walk of the game for Springs and the 4th this inning.
That is a lot of walks. And the Blue Jays are taking their walks, too. They're not just up there swinging. They don't seem antsy. That was a pretty good take from Alejandro Kirk right there in a 3-1 count.
Springs is going to go back into the windup. Bases loaded, 2 down. His pitch to Dalton Varsho. Called a strike.
I'm wondering if he just didn't feel comfortable in the stretch. I think last time with the bases loaded, he was pitching from the stretch.
He was. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, one thing, too, so all that back and forth he just had with John Lipka, he's kind of a double set guy. He brings the glove up and then does it again. Maybe he's just trying to make sure he won't get another violation or a balk. 1-1. Swinging a pop-up, foul, third base side. It'll get out of play just over the third base dugout and into the seats. Comes crashing down into the seats with a thud. It's 1-2.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looks a lot better out of the windup than he did out of the stretch. Filling up that zone now.
You were always a stretch guy, right?
Always. Always. Even when I was a starter, I was a stretch guy.
1-2. Popped up, foul first base side. This one might be playable. Soderstrom ranging over, and it's off of the netting that drapes over the first base dugout. Rolls into the seats. Varsho's still alive. It's been a long wait for Chris Bassett, starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, is walking around the Toronto dugout. Not only have the Blue Jays scored 3 in the second, but because of the walks and then the mound visit in the middle, it's been a longer inning than even your average 3-run frame. Springs from the windup, bases loaded, 2 down, the 1-2. Down and away, sliding stop by Langoliers, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chris Bassett didn't have a lot of those innings in his last start.
No.
They're too quick. These ones are too long.
Springs his opponent, glove overhead, kicks and offers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets Varsho on a fastball to end the inning, but the Blue Jays send all 9 to the plate, and they end up with 3 runs in the inning on 2 hits. They leave the bases loaded, but we go to the third. Blue Jays 3, Athletics 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up. Let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. The one that's hanging out listening to the Blue Jays game with us. We appreciate you being here. Now that we got your attention, welcome to our awesome community. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss it for game 1 through 162, and of course, every single game of the MLB playoffs, whether the Blue Jays are in or not. We appreciate you being here. We've just passed over 100,000 subscribers because of you. Yeah, those of you who haven't hit that subscribe button yet, that just do now, it's because of you that we're here. And everybody that's hit that subscribe button along the way. And we're on our way to 1 million and even further. Thank you for hanging out with us during the Jays game. Welcome to our awesome community. Thanks for turning on that bell, and we'll see you back in the chat.
Owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Fort Erie and Dunnville. Crown is proud to be Canadian owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the third. Chris Bassett deals to Drew Avens, called strike, 0-1. We have the pleasure this inning of being joined by Director of Operations at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Scott Crawford is with us alongside Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Here's the 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's another great night for baseball, and we're winning, so that's double.
That is true. Big 3-run bottom of the second for the Blue Jays. Here's the 1-1. Inside 2 balls, 1 strike. We got to see you early on today before the game. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. picks up the Tip O'Neill Award. That had to be a lot of fun delivering that to him with the home crowd.
Yeah, it was always great to present the winner with the award each year, and to do it in Toronto in front of all the Canadian fans is wonderful.
2-1 fouled back, 2-2.
Well, I guess my only question to you is, did you get your Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hockey jersey?
I did
Nice.
actually. I got one.
All right.
Yep.
The most important thing.
Did you wait in line for a while?
No, we sort of went and got one.
Nice. Very nice. 2-2 from Bassett to the left-handed hitting Avens. Hit on the ground, foul. So, Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, very exciting class getting inducted this year. And I think, what's going to pop off the poster or whatever first for Blue Jays fans, Jose Bautista being involved. It's got to be exciting having that class coming in.
It is. It's a great class of 6. Jose is the main name, but there's 5 others so well-deserving, including Greg Hamilton, who's run the program forever, who helped coach Chris through his playing days and is one of the greatest in Canada.
Well, if he coached Chris, then maybe there's still some room for improvement based on what we've seen from Chris so far.
I'm thankful for Greg because he put me on the junior national team when I was 16 when I might not have deserved it. So if Greg Hamilton's listening, thank you for that.
Time called before, another 2-2 to Drew Avens, but Amanda Say, Jose Bautista, Eric Bedard, Greg Hamilton, Arlene Noga, Jerry Snyder, all going into the Hall of Fame class. A lot of different areas of the Canadian baseball game as the 2-2 misses outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, from baseball in Montreal to the All-American Professional Girls Baseball League to Blue Jays and other big figures in baseball. I mean, everything's really covered within that class. 3-2 from Bassett, swing and a miss, strike 3, 1 down.
It is. We always like our class to be well-rounded, right? I mean, Jerry Snyder was one of the head counselors in Montreal that really pushed Major League Baseball to bring baseball to Montreal. So without him, you could say Montreal might have never had baseball along. He brought Charles Promford on board and John McHale on board and really got baseball, them to say okay to Montreal.
As we look ahead to not only the induction, but the year coming up, here's Canadian Denzel Clark, and the Torontonian chops it foul. 0-1. What should people expect to see this year, and what kind of things should they be looking forward to come down to the Hall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously induction weekend's next Saturday, June 7th, and we've done all new displays in the museum, so if you've been there in the past, you can check out our displays. We have a bobblehead display. We have a current Canadians display, which is always really important because, Denzel Clark's going to be donating us something very soon from his from just this week when he played in his first game, so we're pretty excited to gain that, and just always lots of different things that are on display in the museum.
That is pretty awesome. Clark just took a strike. It's 0-2. It is great to see a guy from around this area at the ballpark right now. Here's the 0-2 to Clark. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, 2 down. What are some other stuff that you have in the current players situation? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff obviously from last year. We had Tyler O'Neill's spikes, and we got Joey Votto's jersey from Dunedin when he played those couple games down in Single A. We were able to get Joey's jersey.
That's really cool.
And we have a nice Joey Votto display this year because obviously now he's done his fantastic career, and so we wanted to put a display up about him and one of the greatest generational players, not only Canadian but in all of baseball. So he's a special talent. And
do you have any leftover bobbleheads that you're thinking about giving away?
To you, Chris?
We'll talk
sure,
afterwards.
yeah.
We'll talk afterwards. Yeah.
Lawrence Butler at the plate right now. 1 ball and no strikes. We're joined by Scott Crawford, Director of Operations at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. 1-0 pitch. Called a strike, 1-1. So induction weekend coming up. For those who maybe don't know, how does the weekend work? Because it's not just the ceremony. There's a lot going on at the Hall.
Yeah, we start our events out at Left Field Brewery, actually in Toronto here, just west of the Dome. On the Thursday night, we have a fundraising event with all the inductees are there, along with Larry Walker and Fergie Jenkins are coming out this year as well. And so that's a great event next Thursday. Friday, we have a celebrity golf tournament with all the same fellas. And then Saturday is the big induction ceremony with the 6 people. I mean, 3 living and 3 passed away. Amanda's parents are driving from British Columbia to help us honor their daughter.
Wait, they're driving from British Columbia?
Yep. So
that is awesome.
That's going to be a real touching one, obviously, with Amanda, who passed away way too young, and with the women's national team. And her parents are coming, her brother's coming, and a lot of relatives are. So that's going to be really nice.
That is great. 2-2 count to Lawrence Butler, by the way. 2 out spaces empty. 3-1 for the Blue Jays over the A's in the top of the 3rd inning. Chris Bassett onto the hill, comes set. Into the wind and the 2-2 pitch. Hit foul off to the left. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I would imagine that it's going to be an incredible turnout with Greg and Jose and Amanda. Those are 3 big names in Canadian baseball.
Yep. Eric Bedard from Ottawa. He pitched 11 years. He's the all-time lefty for strikeouts and innings pitched and whatnot. But, I mean, Jose is obviously the big name, and Greg's done so much for Baseball Canada over all the years. So that's 2 really big people we're happy to honor, along with the other 4.
2-2 pitch by Bassett in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays leading 3-1, top of the 3rd inning. Just saw the Canadian Denzel Clark. Now it's Lawrence Butler, the 3-2. Fouled off of the glove of Clark. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. The current players section really kind of piqued my interest because it feels like as the years go on, maybe even as the months go on, we see more and more Canadians in the game. Do you guys have to grapple with that a little bit, that you're getting so much stuff potentially?
It's so great. I mean, the Naylor brothers, Quantrill, Mike Soroka's back. There's so many. There's about 17 Canadians, I think, in the big leagues last year and this year combined, and it's so great. Tyler O'Neill's with Baltimore, of course. Jordan Romano's with the Phillies now this year. Matt Brash is back after a year off with his bad elbow, and he's just lights out. Cade Smith with Cleveland. Well, he should be the closer there. He's lights out. So it just keeps on going, and the kids coming up, Owen Casey and Tyler Black, and now Denzel's here, but Mitch Bratt, and you go on and on. That's the unique thing.
3-2 pitch missed to Butler, by the way. He's on first. 2 outs. Top of the 3rd inning. Jacob Wilson up. Butler takes off on the first pitch. It's called a strike. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base. Lawrence Butler is 9th of the year. He's in scoring position with 2 outs.
What's your favorite part of the weekend? You can't say the golf tournament. That's not allowed.
Sounds like a pretty good part. Fergie Jenkins golfing sounds pretty good.
No, I mean, the ceremony, hear the stories, right? I mean, when the inductees are on stage, they do their thank yous and whatnot, but when you hear their unique stories, because again, our class is 6 totally different people, from coaches to famous Blue Jay players to famous Canadians to women who played in the 40s in professional baseball. So the stories are just amazing to sit and listen to.
0-1 pitch, cut and a miss, 0-2. It's actually, if I'm not mistaken, the 82nd anniversary of the start of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League today. So pretty cool that you have a player from that league that existed for a chunk of time in the mid-20th century getting inducted. Are there other players from the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in the Hall of Fame already?
Yeah, we did Helen Callahan in 2021. But we inducted them as a whole group of 68 ladies back in 1998. And so now there's a few special ones that did extra special things, like Helen and Arlene. I mean, she helped Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell learn how to play baseball in the movie League of Their Own, right? So she played, but she kept the game going and really pushed the Canadian aspect of the game. So she did extra special things off the field too.
Very cool. Bassett missed with the last pitch, so it's 1-2 to the right-handed hitter, Jacob Wilson. 2 outs, 3-1 for the Blue Jays with a runner on second in the top of the 3rd inning.
I guess here's the most important question from me today. Are you any good at golf?
No. They don't even let me play. That's how bad I am.
You've been doing this for how long now? You have to be good at golf.
I just watch them all tee off, and then off I go.
1-2. Butler jumps from second base, and a base hit into center field on the ground for Wilson. Butler jogging home. He was pretty much at third by the time that ball was hit. It's an RBI single for Wilson, and the A's inch closer now, 3-2 for the Blue Jays, top of the 3rd.
Wilson's such a good player. Takes that sinker inside and just finds a hole up the middle.
So the A's striking here in the 3rd inning as we talk to Director of Operations at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, Scott Crawford. I did see that Sportsnet's Hazel May will be emceeing the ceremony there. Who are some of the other people that will be featured or be around the ceremony outside of the 6 inductees. First pitch, hit on the ground by Rooker to third. Toss over to first by Barger to end the inning.
We got our 2 greatest, Larry Walker and Fergie Jenkins, so they're going to be there.
Very cool. Well, Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the upcoming induction weekend, and we're excited to see it.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
A's get a run on the Jacob Wilson hit. It's 3-2 for the Blue Jays, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan in the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand. No bundle required.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ernie Clement leading it off for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the third, 3-2 Toronto. Jeffrey Springs misses inside with a fastball. Ball 1. Thanks again, Scott Crawford, for joining us. Looking forward to seeing some of the clips from induction weekend coming up. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a ground ball foul, 1-1.
Well, we talked about Greg Hamilton and the fact that he's done so much for Canadian baseball, but Scott Crawford's done a ton as well. So thanks to him.
If you haven't been out there to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, definitely worth it. The 1-1. Swing and a deep fly ball. Left field. Haven's back at the track. Looking up. It's out of here. Who is this guy? Ernie Clement with his 4th extra base hit in the last 2 days. He's left the yard again. Euro steps around Carlos Fabulous. It's 4-2 Blue Jays.
Well, you said it. Who is this guy? Takes that slider up in the strike zone, waits back on it, and absolutely drilled it out to left field.
Didn't do the Vladdy hesitation step this time before third, but he's starting to get used to that jacket. 3rd home run of the season for Ernie Clement. Blue Jays up 4-2. Jeffrey Springs, glove overhead, deals to Addison Barger. High ball 1.
That jacket's still a little bit big on him.
It is. It has to fit
everybody.
Him. It has to fit a guy as big as Anthony Santander. So you don't usually buy your suits one size fits all. 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Hit a home run on your next home improvement. For a great selection of renovation products and quality brands, Timber Mart has the bases loaded for a grand slam on every project. Batter up. Timber Mart is Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, the 2-0. High ball 3. Blue Jays 4, Athletics 2. Nobody out. Bottom of the 4th inning, or pardon me, bottom of the 3rd. 3-0 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Addison Barger has seen 8 balls in this game. It's his 2nd walk.
Jeffrey Springs just walked his 7th guy of the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, the walks were a little elevated coming into this start, but it was more like 20 in 60 innings. Not anything close to this. And in some ways, it should be worse given the walks that he's issued so far. No outs, bottom 3. It's 4-2 Blue Jays. The pitch. High and outside to Miles Straw. And he has been very consistent.
Sorry, that was his 6th walk of the ball game.
1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. I mean, 6 walks, 7 walks. Once you cross 3 or 4, it's pretty rough either way. But this is a good pitcher. I mean, this is a guy who has put up good numbers in a tough ballpark to pitch in Sacramento for a lot of the year. 1-1. Fouled off 1-2.
Well, it's one thing to give up 4 runs in 3 innings. We've all done that as pitchers. But it's an entirely different thing to walk 6 guys in those 3 innings. Sorry, those 2 innings. Hasn't gotten anybody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Real standout is that 4-walk second, including walking the go-ahead run at the time home. His 1-2. Straw hits it on the ground. Fair ball, left field line, rolling into the corner. Barger hits the bag at second. He's headed to third. He gets the wave around third. Barger to the plate. Throw is cut off. RBI double Miles Straw, and it's 5-2 Blue Jays.
Addison Barger was running hard around second base, looking at Carlos Fablis, the third base coach, and Carlos Fablis waited till the last second to wave him home, scoring the 5th run of the ballgame for the Toronto Blue Jays. 5-2, and nobody out in this bottom of the 3rd inning.
Second RBI of the game for Miles Straw, who had an RBI single in the 2nd. And now another mound visit for Jeffrey Springs, already up to 67 pitches, has given up 5 runs, and has nobody out in the 3rd.
One of my favorite things to do is watch Carlos Fablis. He works really hard over there.
Yeah, he's active. He goes up and down the line. He's probably got a 60-foot range of where he will start and finish sometimes. Almost like that football coach running down the sideline with a kick returner as they go to score a touchdown. And while no one uses the coach's box, I don't know if anyone disregards it more than Carlos Fablis. He never is in that coach's box. Even right now, he could be standing in it. He's instead just one step in front, just outside of the box. In the batter's box, Nathan Lucas, left-on-left matchup, Straw on second. A peek back from Springs in the pitch. Outside ball 1. Lucas showed bunt and pulled it back.
I'm wondering if that was a sack bunt attempt, or he's just showing sack to maybe get the third baseman in a little bit. I guess we'll see here.
I lean the latter. 1-0. Shows bunt again and pulls it back, takes a strike. Looks more like the former, like it was a genuine bunt attempt. Blue Jays looking to add to their lead. Bottom of the order hitter right now in Lucas. Toronto up 5-2. Straw on second, no outs. So look at second in the pitch. Squares to bunt, bunts it foul off the foot of the catcher, Langoliers. Likely no more bunt put in place now. It's 1-2.
It's a pretty tough ask to sack bunt against Jeffrey Springs. He throws across his body. There's some deception there. And you can see that Nathan Lucas, who's really good with the bat, a decent bunter, is a little bit uncomfortable right now in that batter's box.
He has bunted once this year with 2 strikes, and he got it down. The 1-2. Swinging away, he shoots it foul. Lined it to left, but over the netting into the seats. Lucas takes off his helmet for a moment, wipes some sweat from his face with his right arm, and slips that dark-colored helmet back on. Left-handed hitter is 0 for 1 today. Grounded out on a diving stop at short. 1-2. Hit hard down the right field line. Fair ball off the retaining wall. Pinballing into shallow right. Straw jogs home. Lucas limited to a single because of a good play by second baseman Logan Davidson. But it's 6-2 Blue Jays on the RBI hit.
Well, he smoked that ball by Tyler Soderstrom over there at first base. A little bit unlucky. Hit off that short retaining wall out in foul territory. But he ends up with an RBI and a base hit here with still nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
And that is going to do it for Jeffrey Springs. Starter for the A's, taken out after 2+ innings. Faces 4 in the 3rd, doesn't record an out. He's allowed 6. Leaves with the Blue Jays up 6-2 and a runner on first, no outs. bottom of the third. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Roger Lajoie.
And Ben, thanks very much. Let's go now to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. And check out tonight's action in the majors. One afternoon game in the majors today. Cincinnati going into Wrigley Field and beating the Chicago Cubs 6-2. Andrew Abbott threw 7 shutout innings of one-hit ball in that one. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Abbott improves to 5-0. Colin Ray took the loss in that one. Friedel, Stevenson, and Fraley hitting homers for the Reds, who beat the Cubs 6-2. Another final from earlier today. Ben talked about it earlier. Baltimore started the game a little early because of threats of rain. About 4:30 was first pitch today, and they got the ball game in as Baltimore beat the White Sox 2-1. Zach Eflin, the winning pitcher in that one, he's 4-2. He had 7 shutout innings as well, allowed just 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, and a walk. Sean Burke took the loss in that one. Orioles just their 20th win of the season, and the White Sox could have tied the Orioles in the standings with a win. That's how bad the Orioles are playing and how improved the White Sox are this year. Games in progress as we speak. The Brewers just put a 3-spot up in the 5th inning. They lead Philadelphia 5-1. Christian Yelich with his 11th homer of the season in that game. Schwarber with an RBI single for the Phillies, but 5-1 Milwaukee, bottom of the 4th inning. In Cleveland, the Angels lead the Guardians 1-0. In New York, the Mets up on Colorado 2-0. Colorado's won just 9 games this year. Giants up 2-0 on the Marlins, and the Braves lead the Red Sox 1-0. That's the first look at the St. Louis out-of-town scoreboard. Let's get back to Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Raj. Blue Jays 6, A's 2. Bottom of the 3rd inning, and the first pitching change of the game brings on the right-hander Mitch Spence. He faces Bo Bichette with a runner on first, no outs. The pitch. Swing and a liner out to center, hit right at Denzel Clark. Backed up a little bit and makes a one-handed catch. Well struck, but 1 out.
Yeah, you can tell that Bo Bichette has figured something out. He looks really good in that batter's box, really comfortable swinging the bat well. He ripped that ball to center field. Unfortunately, it was right at Denzel Clark.
So first out of the inning, it's recorded by Mitch Spence, 27-year-old, born in Kirkland, Washington. Cutter first pitcher, throws a low 90s cutter about 40% of the time. A lot of sliders too, mixes in some sinkers, curves, and changes. His pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Down and away, ball 1. Spence, a converted starter, started 25 times last year, 24 times for Oakland, threw over 150 innings. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. It's not that long ago, just back in December of 2023, that the A's picked up Spence as the first overall pick in the Rule 5 draft. Is 1-1. Down and in, 2 balls, 1 strike. This season he's made 20 appearances, still kind of a long reliever, even though he's not a starter. 34 1/3 innings across those 20 outings to an ERA of about 4.5. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a fly ball deep right center field. Clark circling around it on the edge of the warning track, makes the catch. 2 down. Just a little bit off the end of the bat for Vlad.
That was a pretty good slider from Mitch Spence, just off the plate outside. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I think, hit it off the end of the bat just a little bit, just missed it, like you said. Denzel Clark made that play on the warning track out in right center.
Spence has some success against the Blue Jays in his career. In a solid, maybe not remarkable season last year, he started against the Blue Jays twice. One of those outings was one of his best starts of the year. His pitch to George Springer, down and away, ball 1. If you go back to June 9th, 2024 in Oakland, Spence went 7 against the Blue Jays, allowing 2 earned runs. Came to Toronto on August 9th, went 5 2/3, allowing 2 earned runs. The 1-0. Called a strike, fastball on the inner third, 1-1.
Well, he has good stuff. He has that 93 to 94 mile an hour sinker that has a lot of depth to it. I actually like him as a starter. I remember him from last year. His fastball is a little bit like Brendan Little's. from the right side.
1-1. Swing and a deep fly ball to center. Clark going back again on the warning track near the wall, leaps, and he brings it in. What a play from the Canadian Denzel Clark out in center, taking one away from Springer to end the inning. The Blue Jays, though, scored 3 in the frame on 3 hits, starting with the solo home run from Ernie Clement. They leave one on, and they lead 6-2 after 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Battle the start-finish line. Alexander Rossi goes to P1.
Hear every thrilling moment in the season-long championship chase.
Alex Palou, mirrors full of Pato Award. And then it's the machine of willpower in that third position.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern on the streets of Detroit.
Alex Palou, bring him home.
Live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218 and the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio examines the duality of Johnny Miller's Hall of Fame career. As a player, he was one of the few to challenge Jack Nicklaus in the 70s.
Maybe the greatest iron player ever.
And as an unfiltered and fearless broadcaster.
If Ben Hogan saw that, he'd puke.
Legends of the Game.
Legends of the Game.
Listen to Legends of the Game, Johnny Miller, and browse the entire catalog of golf originals. Search PGA Tour Radio specials on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Top of the 4th inning. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. This 4th inning presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays 6, Athletics 2. Chris Bassett facing Tyler Soderstrom, who homered off of him in the second. First pitch curve, pounded out to shallow center field. Bichette racing back, Varsho racing in. Varsho makes the catch, and there's one out.
Well, I'm sure Chris Bassett will take that after a long layoff sitting in that dugout. One pitch, one out.
And the Blue Jays really have picked up Bassett. He's allowed 1 run in each of the last 2 innings, and the Blue Jays hitting after those runs have responded with 3 in each of the last 2 innings. Bassett intensely palming up a new baseball before facing Shea Langoliers, the catcher. The pitch, high, 1 ball and no strikes. Guess what Shea Langoliers is named after, Chris? It's baseball related.
I have no idea.
Shea Stadium, former home of the New York Mets. His parents were Met fans. The pitch. Swing and a deep drive, way out to left, trying a jog, and that ball is gone. An absolute missile for Langoliers, his 10th home run of the year. It's 6-3 for the Blue Jays in the 4th.
Langoliers was all over that sinker right down the middle. Didn't miss it. 111 miles an hour off the bat, 417 feet out to left field. What a swing.
I mean, that's one of those Vladdy home runs where you don't get it that high up in the air. Just a line shot that kept going and going and going. Pitch now to C.J. Alexander, down and away, ball 1.
That sinker by Chris Bassett was one of those sinkers that leaked back over the middle of the plate. He was trying to throw a backdoor sinker, hit the outside third of the plate, and it just leaked right down the middle.
1-0 is pulled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. So he looks to bounce back against C.J. Alexander. 20th rounder by the Braves in 2018. out of the State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota, which is actually in Bradenton. One. Swing and a liner over the head of Guerrero, down in fair territory, hugging the line, a base hit. Picked up quickly, Lucas Alexander trying for second, throw skips in time. Nathan Lucas gets him on a skipped throw to Bo Bichette, 2 down.
I think the A's are going to take a look at that, but he looked like he was out to me. A perfect throw from Nathan Lucas in short right field. What a play. Bare hands that baseball off that short retaining wall and makes a perfect throw into second base for the second out of the inning.
What a boost that is for the Blue Jays and Chris Bassett. Just allow a homer. You don't want to give up a hit right after. And clearly we could see on the replay he got him. So 2 down and Logan Davidson is up. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1.
How about bare-handing that baseball? I would say 9 out of 10 right fielders glove that baseball and then transfer into that throwing hand. But Nathan Lucas just snagged that thing with the bare hand, making it that much quicker.
1-0. Foul back into the screen. And also, Lucas is right-handed. The wall is to his left, kind of where the ball was. He had to angle himself in a way to make that a comfortable bare hand. And he was able to do that without burning a bunch of time. 1-1. Called a strike, 1-2.
And then Bo Bichette caught that baseball, tagged the runner, and then you look at the baseball and it's a snow cone.
Yeah, a little scary.
Almost popping out of his glove.
For Lucas, his 3rd outfield assist of the year. Previous 2 had come from left. That's his first one from right field. 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Fastball right over the heart of the plate to catch Davidson looking and end the inning. The A's get a run on a solo shot from Shea Langoliers, but it's Blue Jays 6, A's 3 at the middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca. The right materials and the right price. Project Know-How that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Breaking news 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
For this life I cannot change. Hidden hills. Deep off in the main.
This is George Springer, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Roger Lajoie, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our technical directors. 6-3 Blue Jays as Alejandro Kirk takes outside, ball 1. It's Mitch Spence again for the Athletics. Came in and got all 3 batters he faced in the 3rd. Is 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1.
According to that scoreboard, the Blue Jays should score 3 runs this inning.
That's true. Each of the last 2 innings, the A's have scored 1 and the Blue Jays have scored 3. A's held up their end of the bargain. Solo shot in the 4th. 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2. This is one of those stats that I'm not sure actually has any substance, but I guess I'll say it anyway. The A's averaging close to 6 runs per game when Jeffrey Springs starts. Now, he's already out of the game, but maybe you want to add to your 6-3 lead if that's the case. 1-2 is hit high. deep center field. Clark going back at the wall, climbs the wall, and makes the catch. My goodness! You may not see a better catch the rest of the year. Torontoni and Denzel Clark has to turn and watch it on the board himself. He scaled the wall, hung on to the top of it, reached up his left arm, and took away a clear homer from Alejandro Kirk. That is sensational. Pitch to Dalton Varsho. Low ball 1.
He's really excited out there. He hasn't stopped smiling since he made that catch. What a play. And I'm assuming in front of 100 of his family and friends.
We could hear them yesterday. 1-0. Lined left center and down for a hit. Clark can't cover everywhere on the diamond, so that one falls in for Varsho, his first time aboard today.
Yeah, he had no chance with that one. That was a tough slider inside. Dalton Varsho just muscles that thing out to left center. But what a play. We're seeing the replay right now from Denzel Washington. Like you said, scaled that wall. I thought that was easily gone. Alejandro Kirk thought he got it. And then here comes Denzel Clark making a great play over that wall in center field.
1 out. Varsho on first, in the pitch to Ernie Clement. Swing and a miss. There's still a buzz around the ballpark from that catch, and that's a play that went against the Blue Jays. 6-3 for Toronto. Clement's been a big part of that, a double and a solo homer. From the stretch, Spence with an 0-1. Check swing, pitch down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You don't think the buzz is because Dalton Varsho just got a broken bat base hit?
You know what? I don't know. It could be. Varsho talking with Casey Candell, who continues to fill in at first base for Mark Budzinski. Bud will be back tomorrow. 1-1. Varsho takes off on the pitch. It's hit on the ground and into right center, a base hit. Varsho up to third. Can't execute the hit and run better than that. Clement hit it right where the second baseman Davidson would have been, but he was covering the bag on the steal. It's runners on the corners, 1 out.
That was perfect. Logan Davidson, the Athletic second baseman, was covering Dalton Varsho, trying to steal second base, and Ernie Clement, who's so good at going the other way, he's so good with that bat, just hammers that into the vacant hole. How about Ernie Clement, by the way?
Double homer single in the last 3 innings. He has 5 innings left, and he's a triple away from the cycle. Maybe 4. Depends if the Blue Jays will bat in the bottom of the 9th or not. 6-3 lead right now for Toronto. 1 out, bottom 4. And with first and third, the pitch to Addison Barger. Line and blocked on a hop by Wilson. The shortstop steps on the bag, throws to first for a double play to end the inning. Nice play by Jacob Wilson. The Blue Jays looking at it for a moment, but I think they'll let that one go, and they will. 6-3 double play to end the frame. No runs on 2 hits for the Blue Jays. 1 left. We go to the 5th. 6-3 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The UEFA Champions League final is on Sirius XM. Munich is the stage for club soccer's most prestigious event, featuring Parisian elegance.
Goal! 2-1! It's raining goals in Paris!
Versus Italian resilience.
It's in! Inter back from the brink.
It's Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League final tomorrow at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, 157 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
This is Steve Phillips from the Leadoff Spot. Join me and Jim Bowden Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern as we recap all the action from the weekend in baseball, headlined by a rematch of the 2024 World Series as Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers host Aaron Judge and the Yankees. We'll give you all the big plays from all the big games, and in case you missed it, take you around the bases with all the top stories, and you can watch us live on MLB Network at 9 a.m. Eastern. All that and more in the Leadoff Spot on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Radio Network.
Top of the fifth inning, 6-3 for the Blue Jays. Leading off the frame, left fielder Drew Avens. The pitch from Chris Bassett, called a strike, 0-1. Blue Jays think that Avens, the left-handed hitting outfielder, might be a bunter. Third baseman Addison Barger is a couple steps in on the infield turf. 0-1. Hit on the ground to third, diving stop. Barger picks it up, tosses to first in time. And there's one out. He did not have a lot of time to backhand that ball because he was playing so close, not to mention didn't have a lot of time to throw and still made a good play.
Well, Drew Avens is a burner. And Addison Barger made a great play. I don't know if Addison Barger is playing back. Does he get Drew Avens at first base? He has such good speed. Gets him by a step, even playing in.
Barger remains in for Denzel Clark, the pitch. Low and away, ball one. What a catch Clark made in the fourth, scaling the wall to take away a homer from Alejandro Kirk. He's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. The pitch. Swing and a line drive right field, and it's down for a hit. Nathan Lucas looked a little in between, ended up picking it on a bounce. Second major league hit in the career of Clark, and you can hear his fan section cheering, full of friends and family from the area.
Well, I can see his fan section down there just above the Athletics dugout. But that's actually a really nice swing from Clark going the other way and a tough pitch down and away. Nathan Lucas just misses catching that baseball.
He can run. He's a threat on first. Lawrence Butler up. Right on left. Bassett kicks and offers. Swing and a liner out to right again. That one down in front of Lucas. High bounce. He fields it above his head. Clark had to wait to see if it got down. He races up to second.
Clark is really active out there. You could see him kind of bouncing around at first base. I'm assuming he'll do the same thing at second base, so you have to be careful with him out there, and especially Lawrence Butler now, too, at first base.
Clark, born in Toronto, attended the athletics-focused Everest Academy in Thornhill in high school while playing elite ball for the Toronto Mets. Pitch to Jacob Wilson, fouled off to the right, 0-1.
Talk about active. How about Jacob Wilson's feet in the batter's box? My goodness.
He is dancing around in there. Waddles back and forth from his right foot to his left foot. Wide open stance. Almost turns his body to face the pitcher. 0-1. Fouled back, 0-2.
Can you think of another guy in baseball history who moves their feet like that, kind of dances around in the batter's box?
Not a hitter. I have a very niche pitcher reference. This guy named Jackson Wolf who's pitched a couple times in the big leagues. He would waddle on the mound. He would step back and forth, but not in the box. I mean, waddling on the mound's different. You stop yourself before you throw a pitch. Next pitch to Wilson is hit very high out to left field near the line. Straw sprinting in, and it just gets out of play, foul. 0-2. The count remains.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but that stance that Jacob Wilson has is kind of like a pitcher who has really strange mechanics. If it works, it works. You just don't mess with it.
And he's hitting .348 coming into this game. Has an RBI single already. Had a very nice start to his season, but he's been basically unstoppable in May. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. In May, batting .375, 4 homers, 15 RBI, and that's coming into today. So now 16 and an on-base plus slugging over 1,000 for a guy that had a handful of games played last year. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He has punched out twice today, which is very unusual. Bassett gets him swinging. 2 down.
Well, Chris Bassett definitely has his number. He elevated that cutter. You can see it looks like a strike on the outside part of the plate and then just darts left. Jacob Wilson wasn't happy about the fact that he swung at that, but that's a pretty good pitch.
It's 5th inning, by the way, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance, it's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. 6-3 for the Blue Jays after the Wilson strikeout. Brent Rooker up. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. First pitch fastball in there, strike 1. Typically that fastball is the pitch Rooker wants. Last year he hit almost 340 on heaters with a lot of his power. This year he's taken a small step back overall, and part of it might be because he's not hitting the fastball as much. The 0-1. Swing and a deep drive right center. That one is down in the gap, bouncing into the wall. In to score, Clark. Butler gets the wave around third. Relay to the plate, goes rolling past Bassett into the backstop. Rooker takes off from second, and he'll take third. RBI double for Rooker. The error advances him to third. And the cut and relay there, not necessarily how you draw it up. Clement turned around after receiving the ball pretty far out there in the outfield from Lucas. Chris Bassett, the pitcher, was still on the hill, which usually the pitcher's backing up a spot and there's an infielder in the middle of the diamond. And the throw bounced away from Bassett, allowing Rooker to move up 90 feet.
Well, I'm not sure what Chris Bassett was doing. He knows he has to back up home plate. That's something that should be ingrained in your mind as a pitcher. You give up a double in the gap, you get behind home plate just in case a throw gets past the catcher. I don't care if you're upset, like Chris Bassett probably was at that pitch, but you get behind home plate, you keep that guy from advancing the extra base, just like Brent Rooker did. He should be at second base right now, but instead he's at third base.
So now it's a 6-5 game on the Rooker 2-run double. 2 outs, top of the 5th. And credit to the A's. Lost big yesterday, went down big early on today, but they've turned a 6-2 deficit into a 6-5 deficit. Tyler Soderstrom is up. He's 1 for 2 with a solo home run. Bassett looking out at Brent Rooker. Kicks and offers to Soderstrom. Swing and a miss, strike 1. For what it was worth, talking about Rooker hitting fastballs, that was a sinker that he drove to right center for the double. 0-1. Soderstrom swings and misses, 0-2.
There's that elevated cutter again. I just go right back to that thing, maybe even a little bit higher this time.
Runner on third, 2 outs. Bassett steps onto the third base side of the rubber. The 0-2. Just high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He did go back to that cutter. Tyler Soderstrom didn't offer at it. He's actually asking home plate umpire John Lipka if that was up.
Looked like it was. Maybe Kirk made it seem a little bit closer to the strike zone than it actually was. The 1-2. Fouled back. As they get Bassett a new baseball, we can quickly go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Red Sox are leading the Braves. 2-1 is the score in that one. Home run for Trevor Story. Knocked in Abraham Toro as well. Story had really been struggling. A big home run for him. 1-2. Fouled away. Tampa Bay Rays visiting the Houston Astros after defeating Houston yesterday. The Rays got out on the right foot in this one. Leadoff home run by Jose Caballero off of Framber Valdez. And it's 1-0 for the Rays still. That game now in the bottom of the 3rd. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The 1-2. Hit foul once more. This one popped up over the third base dugout and into the 15th or 16th row of seats.
Soderstrom battling here. That was a tough pitch. Fouled off that slow breaking ball, and then he fouled off that cutter above the strike zone there. I'm not sure what Chris Bassett's going to throw here.
Bassett sets, glove at his chest. A breath, he rocks back and delivers. And he hit him. Caught him with a curveball that broke too far inside. I think that got him on the front foot. And Soderstrom goes down to first. Runners on the corners, still 2 outs.
Bassett choked that off just a little bit. Looked like he was really trying to get that thing to the back foot against Soderstrom. And like I said, just choked it off and hit him in the ankle.
No action in the Blue Jay bullpen. Pass it up to 80 pitches. 6-5, the Blue Jays leading the A's. Top of the 5th. Runners on the corners, 2 down. Shea Langoliers is up. The pitch. Downstairs, ball 1. Langoliers with a walk and a solo homer today. Absolutely crushed a ball out to left center for the solo shot in the 4th. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball right field. Lucas took a hard step back, now stops, makes the catch to his left to end the inning. The A's are scratching and clawing their way back into it. They score a pair of runs on 3 hits in the inning, 1 error, and 2 left on base for the Athletics. 6-5 Blue Jays, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Cracker Barrel 400 from Nashville Super Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
On PGA Tour Radio, everyone plays golf.
Peyton Manning with us.
I topped it on the first hole, hit a golf cart, made a birdie. That's really all I'm going to remember is a birdie. I'll forget about hitting the cart.
Aaron Rodgers in the building. Aaron, how we doing, fella?
Great now. We got that hole out of the way.
How'd you do?
I flared it to the right.
Oh,
just missed
my
the green.
God. Steph Curry with us.
I played in a Corn Ferry event. I've won the American Century in Tahoe in the summer, so I've had a blessed golf life.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 6-5 Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. Mitch Spence to Miles Straw. Call to strike. Straw, Lucas, Bichette for the Blue Jays this inning. Ace scratched across a pair in the 5th, so we got a ball game again. 0-1. Inside. Straw jackknifes out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mitch Spence has been a big part of that. He's retired 6 of the 7 he's faced. 1-1. Down and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Had some help defensively. 2 nice catches in center by Denzel Clark, but Spence has been efficient too. His 2 innings came on fewer than 20 pitches. 2-1. Fouled away, 2-2.
How about Denzel Clark making that catch over the wall in center field, and then coming up with his 2nd career base hit, scoring a run?
He started that rally in the 5th. Clark, the Torontonian, in straightaway center field as the 2-2 goes to Straw. In the dirt, ball 3.
I think he's feeling a little bit better out there in center field.
I think he's feeling great right now. He's had a heck of a 2 innings. Full count to Straw to start the inning. And the payoff pitch. Line foul. Just missed the left field line by maybe a couple of feet. Straw already doubled down that line. He also singled. He's knocked in a pair of runs, and he's scored a pair of runs in this game.
He was all over that slider from Spence. Just missed a double by about 2 feet down that left field line.
It's the first time he faces Spence in this game. Right on right, the payoff pitch. High, ball 4. Straw takes a leadoff walk.
It's pretty good at bat right there from Miles Straw. Like you said, this is a ball game now. The Blue Jays are only up 6-5 now. It's an important run standing out at first base.
Straw on first, Nathan Lucas at the plate. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Spence from the stretch, peeks over his shoulder at first. And the pitch, Straw takes off. The pitch, called a strike, throw down to second, and not nearly in time. Great jump there from Miles Straw. He swipes the bag for his 4th of the year.
Why sacrifice bunt when you have a guy like that out at first base? Miles Straw got a very, very good jump. He stole that base on Mitch Spence. Shea Langoliers really had no chance, even with the good arm, even with the good throw out there. Gets in there pretty easily at second base.
Guys have run on the A's a lot this year. Might not be Langoliers' fault, but he's allowed 50 stolen bases, most in the majors. Spence looks at second at Straw, and now is 0-1 to Lucas. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lucas went up trying to bunt his last time up. Couldn't do it with the first 2 strikes, and then turned on a ball for an RBI single to right. 1-1. Swinging a fly ball out to left. Moving back, Avens near the corner makes the catch. Straw dekes a tag. Avens tosses it into third on a hop. With Straw remaining at second, there's 1 out. So back to the top of the order for the Blue Jays, and this will get interesting. Now they get to see Spence second time through. And even if you look at the first time for guys like Bo and Vlad and Springer, some balls were hit very deep, hit very hard, leaping catches at the wall, catches with a hand on the wall. Can they do more the second time up? Spence to Bo Bichette. Swing and a fly ball, left center field. He got under it. Medium depth left center. A loud call made by Drew Avens. He brings it in. Straw stays at second, 2 outs.
Well, that was a backup slider from Mitch Spence out there on the mound, and I think Bo Bichette assumed that ball was going to break more than it did. He kind of got jammed, hit a little weak fly ball out to left center. He actually got that off the end of the bat watching the replay. He's not happy with himself there.
Spence gets away with a mistake, and now they won't let Vlad face him for a second time with first base open and 2 outs. They intentionally walk Guerrero, so it's first and second for the Blue Jays. Here's George Springer.
That's kind of a no-brainer. I would do the same thing. Much rather face George Springer right now, even though he's swinging the bat pretty well, than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Springer 0 for 2 today with a sac fly. But his fly out in the third, the first of 2 great catches in center by Denzel Clark. It was probably the second best of the 2 by Clark, but he still leaped at the wall to bring it in. And now here comes Mark Kotze. Justin Sterner has been loosening up. And it looks like Sterner will come into this ballgame. We wait for the point from Kotze. And he will make that point and make a pitching change for the A's. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 6-5 Blue Jays, 2 on, 2 out, bottom 5. Let's go over to today's host, Roger Lajoie.
And Ben, thanks very much. And let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Lots of games in the majors this afternoon. The Reds beat the Cubs 6-2. Andrew Abbott 7. Scoreless innings of 1-hit baseball in that one. Another final from earlier today. Baltimore beat the White Sox 2-1. This game started at 4:30 to avoid the rain that was in Baltimore tonight, and it worked. Zach Eflin got the win for the Orioles, and Felix Bautista picking up the save. Gunnar Henderson with 2 hits and a run scored for the Orioles in that one. Games going on in progress. Top of the 8th inning now in Philadelphia. Brewers lead Philadelphia 5-2. Christian Yelich with his 11th homer of the season in that one for Milwaukee. The San Francisco Giants lead the Miami Marlins 2-0. That game in the bottom of the 6th. Matt Chapman with his 10th homer of the season in that one for the Giants. Top of the 7th in New York, where the Mets lead the Rockies 3-2. Mets looking for a 35th win. Colorado is 9-47 this year, but it's a ball game tonight, 3-2. Lindor and Marte have homers for the Mets in that game. Top of the 7th in Cleveland, the Angels lead the Guardians 1-0. Top of the 6th inning in Atlanta, Trevor Story with a homer is 7th as the Red Sox lead the Braves 2-1. Middle of the 3rd in Texas, Rangers up on the Cardinals 5-0. They're in the middle of the 4th in Houston, where Tampa Bay leads Houston 1-0, and Detroit up on Kansas City 4-1. They're playing in the top of the 3rd inning. Later tonight, Nationals and D-backs, Pirates and Padres, Twins and Mariners, and Yankees and Dodgers, and the big one coming up later from New York. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Back to the call of game. Here's Ben Shulman.
Thank you very much, Raj. George Springer up against the righty Justin Sterner. First and second for the Blue Jays. Guerrero on first, Straw on second. 2 outs. 6-5 Blue Jay lead. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Pretty nice year so far for the right-hander Sterner. 2.77 ERA in 26 games across 26 innings. A look at second, the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. The 1 snag, perhaps, 14 walks in 26 innings. Beard connects the sideburns for the right-hander Sterner. Set at the chest, 2-0. Down and away, ball 3.
Do you give George Springer the green light here?
I think so, because I think at his stage of his career, you trust that he's only going to go if it's pitched right down the middle.
I agree.
3-0. He takes a called strike at the top of the zone, borderline pitch. Springer not in love with it, shaking his head. It's 3-1.
Even though that might have been a strike, that's a good take because you really can't do anything with that pitch. Probably just going to pop that thing up.
The 3-1. Swing and a liner out to center field. Down for a base hit in front of Clark. Straw getting the wave. He'll come around third and score. Into third with a slide, Vlad Guerrero Jr. RBI single, George Springer, and it's 7-5 Blue Jays in the 5th.
How about Miles Straw motoring around third base? He was off on contact, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking the extra base. You really don't see that very often. Denzel Clark threw that ball into second base. Probably should have thrown that towards third base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking the extra base. He ends up at third base now with 2 outs.
When I saw Clark charging that liner for a second, I thought,
no way.
No way. Can he catch this too? But
well, he's having a good ball game.
He is. He had no one has any shot at that, really. He had no play. Springer on first, Guerrero on third. 2 outs in the pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Low ball 1. Clark's best play of the game came last time Kirk was up. Clark climbed the wall, put his right armpit on the top of it, and then reached out with his left glove hand to take away a homer from Kirk in dead center. Next pitch, cut and a miss, 1-1.
Well, the coolest part about that catch was he kind of hung on the wall for a split second. Just waited for that ball to get there, made a really nice play out there.
Clark plays straight away. The 1-1. Line, right field, down for a base hit, bouncing into the corner. Vladdy scores. Springer getting the wave around third. He'll come in to score. 2-run single for Kirk. And the Blue Jays are up 9-5 in the 5th.
Well, another interesting development there. Lawrence Butler threw that ball into second base. Carlos Fablis was holding George Springer at third base, and as soon as he saw that throw go to second base, he immediately started waving George Springer home. That's not a run. If Lawrence Butler fields that ball and throws towards home plate. George Springer is still at third base.
Yeah, Butler's cutoff men were set up to the plate. Really, that should be a Kirk double and Springer on third. Instead, it's a Kirk single, but it's 9-5 Blue Jays as Varsho takes outside ball 1.
So Athletics outfielders have given the Blue Jays 2 runs now in this inning. Denzel Clark throwing the ball to second base and Lawrence Butler throwing the ball to second base right there.
1-0 to Varsho outside ball 2. Probably a little bit of, this is a very young, very inexperienced roster. Butler is one of the more experienced guys in the lineup today, and he's still establishing himself at the big league level. 2-0. Ground ball hit to second, picked up on one hop by Logan Davidson. He throws to first to end the inning. Some much needed runs for the Blue Jays. They get separation again by scoring 3 on 2 hits in the bottom of the 5th. Kirk driving in a pair to end the inning. It's 9-5 Toronto after 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Join us for Cricket Day at the Park, presented by TD, Saturday, May 31st. Arrive early to receive your Blue Jays Cricket Warm-Up Jacket giveaway, presented by TD. Created in collaboration with Cricket Canada. Don't miss out on being a part of the Cricket Day spectacle at Rogers Center. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Join us for Cricket Day at the Park, presented by TD, Saturday, May 31st. Arrive early to receive your Blue Jays Cricket Warm-Up Jacket giveaway, presented by TD. Created in collaboration with Cricket Canada. Don't miss out on being a part of the Cricket Day spectacle at Rogers Center. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Breaking news. Spring fashion is heating up at TSC.ca with a wave of top brands and new styles. I'm here with one happy shopper. What did you score?
Oh, where do I start? New designer heels from Ron White, a cute Hillary McMillan jacket, a stunning Avera diamond bracelet, everything I need for spring.
And what's the damage report on your wallet?
Oh, I slid all my purchases into interest-free Easy Pay payments. No damage to report here.
Shop now, pay over time. I love it. Discover the latest spring fashion at TSC.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 6th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care. Today, 9-5 Blue Jay lead and a pitching change for Toronto. Mason Fluharty is on. Second day in a row we see the left-hander. His pitch to C.J. Alexander. Down and away, ball 1. Pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Fluharty closed off in his set, first base side. The pitch. Called a strike to even the count at 1-1. When Fluharty came in yesterday, it was in the 7th. Pitched a scoreless inning around a base hit. Did punch out a pair. (1-1). Cutter misses outside at 91. 2 balls, 1 strike. Debut season has gone pretty smooth so far for Fluharty. 3.68 ERA and 22 innings pitched. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Cutter in the zone, 2-2.
He did have a little bit of a hiccup on May 25th against the Rays. Gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits and didn't get an out, but other than that, he's been really, really solid this season out of that bullpen.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Elevates the cutter on the inner half. 1 out.
That's the pitch right there. Obviously, the sweeper is really good too, but that cutter comes out of his arm like a dart, and he locates it really, really well. That one right there above the strike zone for strike 3.
Fluharty in after a 5-inning start from Chris Bassett. One out, top of the sixth. The infield moves over to the third base side as Logan Davidson, the switch hitter, will turn around to bat right. Fluharty deals home, and the pitch hit on the ground. Diving stop at third. Barger gets up, snaps a throw to first in time. 2 outs.
He is ridiculous over there. A good throw, a great play, diving into that hole on the left side. The most impressive thing about him is he never really reacts to plays like that. He makes a great play, he dives, makes a perfect throw, and then it's just like he did nothing.
He's a pretty understated guy. You know, he's got a big look about him, long hair. He's pretty jacked,
but that's about it.
Hard, but Addison Barger, the person, is a fairly understated, quieter guy. Pinch hitter now for the A's. They'll bring in Miguel Andujar to pinch hit in the spot of Drew Avens, eliminating a left-on-left matchup. So left on right with 2 outs. The pitch to the former Yankee and Pirate. Andujar takes a strike, 0-1.
Andy was second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2018, Ben.
Where did you learn that? 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Andujar batting near 300 with close to 30 homers as a rookie. Finished second in American League Rookie of the Year voting to Shohei Ohtani. 1-1. Cue shot towards second base, hit off the end of the bat. Clement picks up the spinner, tosses it over to first to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Fluharty, middle 6. It's Blue Jays 9, Athletics 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A new generation of hip-hop superstars was born on SoundCloud.
Hey, it's your boy, Boss Man D-Lo.
Yo, it's 4 or 5. I'm Doechii. Stay connected to what's popping online. Now.
Let's get it.
Making so much money, I'm all over the net. With the Sirius XM channel, where new hip-hop is always on. SoundCloud Radio for a limited time on Channel 105 on most radios and year-round at home with Sirius XM on your phone, computer, Alexa TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our at-bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Bottom of the 6th inning, I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays leading the A's 9-5. New pitcher for the A's is the right-hander Grant Holman. A couple defensive changes we'll get to in a sec. But first, the long-haired righty sets high and pitches to Ernie Clement. Misses outside, ball 1. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Wind gusting around the ballpark now as the 1-0 goes home. And it's low ball 2. 15th appearance for Holman, 3.12 ERA. He pitches with a new third baseman. Miguel Andujar had pinch hit in the top of the 6th. He moves to third base now. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. C.J. Alexander, who was at third, is still in the game. He wasn't hit for. He moves out to left. Drew Avens, who was in that spot that Andujar substituted into, he's out of the game. So Andujar at third, Alexander in left as Clement hits the 2-1 on the ground to short. Wilson up with it. Strong throw over to first. And there's one out.
Grant Holman, 6'6", 250 pounds, out of Chula Vista, California, was a 6th-round pick by the A's out of Cal.
You're my California guy. Where's Chula Vista?
I believe it's east of L.A.
Okay. I'm going to take your word on it.
I don't know.
One out. Holman, the right-hander, to Addison Barger, who drives one deep to right field, way back, and out of here. A second deck shot down the right field line for Addison Barger. The Blue Jays reach double digits again. They're up 10-5 in the 6th.
Well, that's a beautiful thing when he runs into one 110 miles an hour off the bat, 406 feet out to right field. He took that hanging changeup from Grant Holman and absolutely demolished it to right field.
Third home run of the season for Barger. He knew it right away. Jonathan Clase helps him put on the jacket. And Barger down into the high five hallway in the Blue Jays dugout. One out, 10-5 Toronto. Miles Straw takes outside ball 1. The Blue Jays now have 6 homers and 22 runs in the first 2 games of this series. And we're not even done game 2. 1-0. Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes.
Do you think they've officially made up for that road trip?
I think in some people's minds, yes. And in some people's minds, they never can. So I'm not going to decide for everyone else. What do you think?
I think yes.
All right.
I'm always positive, though.
2-0. Downstairs, ball 3. I mean, crowd is getting into it. They certainly feel excited that way. It's been a buzz all night with the Blue Jays scoring early, but even more of it right now after the big homer. Miles Straw facing a 3-0 count. He's been on all 3 times today, and he'll take a strike, 3-1.
Well, not to mention it's a beautiful night at the ballpark.
It really is. Darker skies now. The sun has gone down. You can still see some clouds overhead, but it's actually maintained 18 degrees. Not too chilly here in Toronto. 3-1. Driven out to center. Clark backpedaling, twisting and turning. Makes the catch to his left. And for the first time today, Straw is retired. There are 2 down. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard quickly before Nathan Lucas hits. Red Sox have added to their lead. They're up 3-1 thanks to Abraham Toro hitting an RBI double. Carlos Narvaez scored in that one. Still 1-0 for the Rays over the Astros, and the Orioles won earlier today 2-1 against the White Sox.
Speaking of Canadians from
Abraham
Montreal.
Toro, yeah. Pitch to Nathan Lucas, called a strike. 0-1. Got a shot with the Red Sox, given some of their injuries, mainly the first baseman Tristan Casas going down. Nice to see him have a good day. 0-1. Lucas drives it out to left center. Clark racing back at the warning track, at the wall, crashes into the fence, and it pops out of his glove down on the track. Into second goes Lucas. Clark punching the ground. He feels like he should have had that one. I don't know. That's a tough play. And hopefully he's all right as Lucas is at second with an extra base hit.
Well, that was almost Clark's second ridiculous catch of the ball game. Goes crashing into that fence out in left center. I think it was in his glove. Yeah, it was in his glove for a split second. He went crashing into that wall, and it popped out. Nathan Lucas ends up at second base with a double.
I mean, you can't really blame Clark, though. He dove after running full speed right into the fence and actually did have the presence of mind from his stomach to flip it up to the left fielder Alexander to get it back in. Runner on second, 2 down. Here's Bo Bichette. The pitch. Outside, ball 1.
Well, this ball game alone shows why the A's are so high on him.
Yeah, I mean, he looks special out there in center. Bichette 0 for 3 today with a walk. 1-0. Lines it over the head of the first baseman. Soderstrom down and right. Lucas around third. He'll score. They just keep pouring it on. RBI single, Bo Bichette. It's 11-5 for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, Grant Holman actually made a pretty good pitch but Bo Bichette is just so good at inside outing those tough pitches on the inside part of the plate, a lot like Derek Jeter used to do. He gets jammed, but he definitely meant to do that, dumping that thing over the first baseman, Tyler Soderstrom, out there for an RBI and a base hit.
It'll be a mound visit right now. Gives us an opportunity to take a look at the Bet365 standings. With 2 outs in the inning and the Blue Jays up 11-5. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet. You can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Only final today is a win for the Baltimore Orioles. So the Yankees 35-20. They're playing later against the Dodgers. They lead the division. Rays 29-27, 6.5 back. Blue Jays are 28-28. They're 7.5 back. The Red Sox are 27-31, 9.5 back. And the Orioles are 20-36, 15.5 back. For the A's, currently 23-34. They are 8 back. They've only won 1 of their last 10, but the whole division has been losing in the West pretty recently. Pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr., low ball 1. 11-5 for the Blue Jays. Our standings were brought to you by Bet365. Bottom 6 with 2 outs. Bichette on first, and the 1-0 to Vlad. Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes.
And you can bet Vlad's going to get big here. Ahead in the count, 2-0, a fastball count.
Grant Holman is mid-90s with the four-seamer. Throws a splitter and slider as well. 2-0. Fastball misses outside at 94, ball 3.
That's a good take. He was looking for something over the middle of the plate. He got his fastball, but it was off the plate outside.
2 walks already today for Vlad. One of them intentional. 3-0. Called a strike.
That's the one right there.
Yeah,
you could tell
right
that he wasn't
middle.
swinging there 3-0, but that's the one he wanted 2-0.
I still find it hard to believe that he would get a take. Maybe he decided
No,
to.
I don't think he gets a take. I think he decides if he's taking or not.
3-1. Swing, and he lost his bat as he fouls it back. Bat went into the screen. Ball went back over the screen behind home plate. It's full count. Vlad's been on base in 30 straight games, on 3 times today.
That's pretty incredible. 30 straight ball games.
Well, certainly you could say, hey, do you want an extra home run here or there, an extra double here or there? I think that's valid. But his decision-making in terms of what to swing at, what not to swing at, has been really solid. He has not been chasing a big hit and swinging at pitches that he shouldn't. 3-2. Down and away, ball 4. He'll take a walk gladly. His 3rd one today, his 4th time on base. Up to second goes Bo Bichette with 2 outs.
And I think that's the most important thing. He's not forcing anything, or at least trying to force anything. A lot of big guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. feel like they need to contribute in a big way, a home run, a double, and they start swinging at pitches that really aren't their pitch. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr., at least during this stretch of 30 ball games, isn't doing that. He's just not trying to force anything.
And his walk has knocked Grant Holman out of this game. Holman gets 2 outs in the 6th. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Blue Jays up 11-5. Let's go back to our host today, Roger Lajoie.
And thank you, Ben. And let's go once again to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. But before we read some scores, Vladdy and Bo are having a great night. The Blue Jays have 23 runs in 2 games in this series. They are pounding the ball. Well, earlier today on Blair and Barker, they asked manager John Schneider how Vlad and Bo could fare against the A's upcoming left-handed starters in this series.
I feel like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I feel like those 2 guys in particular, they hit righties almost a little bit better than lefties, I feel like. And spring's totally different than Lopez, obviously, with the changeup and kind of just the fastball profile. So I think it's nice that you have a little bit of consistency seeing them, a couple times through the order. And hopefully it does. I think that, baseball's funny, and you can use at bats or swings to kind of feed off of, both from, at bat to at bat and game to game, series to series. hope that's the hope, is that everyone kind of, gets into a little bit of a rhythm here with 3 lefties going out of 4.
They are in a rhythm for sure. The Blue Jays now with 23 runs in this series already. That earlier today, manager John Schneider on Blair and Barker. Other games in progress. Giants lead the Marlins 2-0, top of the 8th. Mets lead the Rockies 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Rangers up on the Cardinals 5-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Royal Control Center. Here's, once again, Ben Shulman.
Thank you very much, Raj. George Springer up to the plate. On the mound, Tyler Ferguson. The righty deals home, takes a strike. 0-1. Blue Jays have runners on first and second. Vlad on first, Bo on second. Leading 11-5 in the bottom of the 6th. Hunched over in the set, glove near his chin. Ferguson kicks, offers, and Springer fouls it back, 0-2. Mid-90s four-seamer, sweeper, sinker, cutter, and change. And just kind of a funky overall motion from the righty. Ferguson this year with an ERA just above 4 in 24 innings. His pitch home. Swing and a fly ball, left center, curling back toward the wall. Clark makes the catch, putting a hand on the fence to stop himself from crashing into the wall, and that will end the inning. The Blue Jays score a pair on 3 hits, a solo shot from Barger, and after a Lucas double, Bo Bichette singles him in to make it 11-5 go into the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Insulation that does more than keep you warm? That's Rock Wool Stone Wool. Fire-resistant, soundproof, moisture-repellent, built to handle what other insulations can't. Whether it's for a reno, a new build, or the peace and quiet you've been dreaming of, Rockwool Insulation delivers serious performance where it counts. Insulation with a reputation. Get it where the smart builders shop at Timbermart, Canada's building center.
Which Looney Dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your Looney Dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. No matter which Looney Dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. Beautiful night for baseball as we enter the 7th inning. The Blue Jays leading the Athletics 11-5. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Shulman. It's a pitching change for Toronto, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Yariel Rodriguez onto the hill. The Cuban right-hander takes on Canadian center fielder Denzel Clark for the A's. Clark with his knees bent a ton in the stance. The pitch. Inside, did that hit him or the bat? Or nothing? I thought that hit something, but they say no. Ball 1.
I'm just looking at the velo, 98 miles an hour.
Yeah. I could have sworn I heard a sound before it banged into the backstop, but maybe it was just the ball ripping through the air. Rodriguez with a 1-0. Fouled back. That one hit the bat, the glove of Kirk, and then the netting. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ben, it kind of looks like you were one of the first 15,000 people at the ballpark tonight.
Because I'm wearing my Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hockey jersey? Because in that case, it looks like you were one of the first 15,000 people tonight. 1-1. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
I have to say, these are pretty sweet. I'm not a big giveaway guy. You know that I'm a bobblehead guy more than anything, but these are pretty sweet.
They are good. This is a great, you go play pond hockey in the winter.
Yeah.
Shinny jersey. 2-1. Called a strike, 2-2. It's City Connect colors. It's a dark base color, and then you have the City Connect logo on the front.
It looks like it was made for you.
Sure. 2-2. Down and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You were the fit model for this thing.
I think I'm swimming in it a little bit, to be honest. Rodriguez with the 3-2. Inside, check swing. And that'll be ball 4. No appeal, and now they do appeal, but Sean Barber confirms it's not a swing, so Clark is on for the second time today. He's aboard with a walk.
And that's Denzel Clark's first big league walk. A pretty good at-bat from a pretty tough pitcher. Took that fastball in off the plate, 97 miles an hour. He's having himself a pretty good ball game.
He is. Native of Toronto on first base. 11-5 Blue Jays, no outs, top of the 7th. Garcia from the stretch, first base side of the rubber, deals to Lawrence Butler, misses high, ball 1. Now if you're the Blue Jays, with the lead that you have, you really want Rodriguez in the zone. Yariel Rodriguez with a 1-0, high and outside, ball 2.
And this is not what you want. I'm sure Pete Walker and John Schneider are having a quick chat in that dugout. But you're up by 6. It's the top of the 7th inning. Just fill up the strike zone. Make the Athletics put the bat on the baseball. You don't want to walk guys here.
Second reliever for the Blue Jays today. Rodriguez with a 2-0. Hit high in the air, left center field, pretty deep. Varsho going back, so is Straw. It's going to be Straw's ball just in front of the track. He makes the catch, 1 out. It was a 5-inning start today from Chris Bassett, and so many times over the last couple of years we have talked about a game where a starter went deep, where the pitching staff as a whole had a great day, and the Blue Jays bats maybe didn't come through at the same level. Today was one of those days where frankly Bassett did not have his best stuff, didn't have his best day overall, and the bats have been able to pick him up in a big way, leading 11-5. Pitch to Jacob Wilson, sprayed foul right side into the netting. 0-1.
Well, they're really firing on all cylinders. It's impressive to watch. Not only is the top part of the lineup hitting the baseball right now, but the bottom part of that lineup, Ernie Clement, Addison Barger, Nathan Lucas, they're really swinging the bat well. It's really impressive.
0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. And while yesterday they might have got to a relatively unproven guy in Jacob Lopez, today Jeffrey Springs was on the hill starting for the A's. And they got him for 6 runs in 2+ innings. 1-1. Low, 2 balls, 1 strike. And they kept going, clipping Mitch Spence for 2 2 2/3. Got 1 from Justin Sterner. He pitched a third of an inning, and 2 on Grant Holman, who went 2/3 of an inning. The pitch. Wilson takes it down and away, and Rodriguez has fallen behind him, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, the Blue Jays have taken advantage of the 9 base on balls from A's pitchers. I think that's what you have to look at. When the A's are giving, or anybody for that matter, are giving you an opportunity like that, you have to take advantage, and the Blue Jays really have tonight.
3-1. Hit on the ground towards third. Barger moves to his right, picks it up, throws the second one. Over to first by Clement. That's a double play. 5-4-3. The Blue Jays turn it. They erase the leadoff walk of Clark, and it's a scoreless top of the 7th for Yariel Rodriguez. It'll be a cheery rendition of OK Blue Jays as Toronto leads 11-5 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the seventh in downtown Toronto. 11-5 Blue Jay lead as Alejandro Kirk steps out of the way of a pitch from Tyler Ferguson. Ball one. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Alejandro Kirk with a hit and 2 walks today. He's 1 for 2. Ferguson hunched over, deals home, and the pitch is lined. Center field. Clark coming on, makes the catch head high. 1 out. Tyler Ferguson, a 6th rounder by the Texas Rangers in 2015 out of Vanderbilt, was part of that first generation of really good Vanderbilt teams in the early to mid 2010s before the lighter rocker second rendition. He was on that 2014 title winning team with Walker Buehler, Dansby Swanson, Brian Reynolds, among others. His pitch now to Varsho is lifted very high to shallow left. Shortstop Wilson onto the left field turf, waves his right arm in the air, catches it with the left, and there are 2 down.
Is it still cool to follow Vandy? Because I know the Vandy boys were cool for a while. They were all over social media with their black uniforms and all that cool stuff that they did. But is it more Tennessee now? Maybe LSU, Texas?
I mean, I will say I'm not the largest U.S. college
Syracuse,
baseball guy.
maybe?
Yeah, of course. No, we don't have a team. But I think they're still cool. Pitched to Ernie Clement with 2 outs, called a strike, 0-1. You know, maybe it lives in kind of a Duke Blue Devil basketball territory or an Alabama football. It's not quite at the peak it once was, but it's still one of the more prominent brands in the game. 0-1. Inside. Nearly hit Ernie Clement, who backed out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ferguson, though, has really had an interesting career. Not only did he pitch at the highest level in terms of college, he has pitched in independent leagues, 1-1, low, 2-1. He was released by the Rangers just before the 2019 season, so he went to the Can-Am League and pitched with Trois-Rivières. 2-1 pitch. Down and away, ball 3.
It's always cool to see a guy go to independent ball and find their way back to the major leagues. It's really tough to do. It doesn't happen as often as people might think.
Yeah, and he came back quick. 1 season in indie ball, and then he was supposed to be a Dodgers minor leaguer in 2020 before COVID canceled the minor league season. 3-1 called a strike, 3-2. Went back to indie ball to start 2021, then got into the Braves system. 3-2. Foul back, still a full count. Spent some time in other minor league systems before finally, about 10 years after being drafted, made his debut last season with Oakland and had a 3.68 ERA in 48 games.
And this is a guy with a big arm.
95.
94, 95 with a lot of sink, too.
Full count, 2 outs. The pitch is lined out to shallow left field. Charging in Alexander. He slides it down well in front of him. He had time to pop up and field it in front of him for a base hit by Clement. It's a 2-out single.
How about Ernie Clement? I know we've said that a few times tonight already, but he just keeps doing it. He is on some kind of roll over the last few games.
It's his 4th hit in this game. And he already had a single, a double, and a homer coming into this at-bat. For 1 second when I saw Alexander slide, I thought, what if that bounced over him? Would there be a triple in the cards? 2 down, Addison Barger up. Swing and a miss, strike one. Last cycle for the Blue Jays was Cavan Biggio. And before that, you have to go all the way back to the early 2000s. Over 2 decades ago, Jeff Fry hit for the cycle for Toronto. 11-5 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. Runner on first in the 0-1. Bounced, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Was Jeff Fry part of the black uniforms?
I'm not sure he was there because they had a different blue uniform at one point before the black uniform. Would he have made it there? 0-1? I don't think so. 1-1. Down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike.
I just wanted to mention the black uniform.
Yeah, congrats. Let's see. I can figure this out for you pretty quick. No, he was not. He was wearing, I don't know how to describe it, kind of the Delgado era Blue Jay uniform. 2-1. Called strike 2-2.
That's my least favorite rendition of the Blue Jays.
The hat with the
Roger
big maple leaf.
Clemens?
Like the Roger Clemens. Yeah.
Era, yeah.
That's your least favorite, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you like the black uniform, so I really don't trust anything you say, but that surprises me. Throw over to first and a dive back in by the base runner, Clement. 2-2 count to Barger and 2 outs. And to be clear, we're talking about the black and silver uniforms. We are not talking about the night mode uniforms the Blue Jays are wearing right now. 2-2. Popped up by Barger, third base side foul. The catcher Langoliers with a long run ditches the mask and makes the catch right in front of the Blue Jays dugout to end the inning. The Blue Jays do not score. They pick up 1 hit. They leave 1 on base. And we go to the 8th inning. Toronto leading 11-5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Saturday night in the NBA. It's Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Brunson catching 2-3. He got it. He's got 22 points.
At 8 Eastern, can the Knicks force a Game 7 back in New York? Or will Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers punch their ticket to the NBA Finals?
At this point, there's no such thing as surprises. Now it's on us to respond.
Hear home and away local broadcasts of every NBA playoff game on Sirius XM with nonstop postseason coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure would I ever play baseball again.
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we go to the 8th inning. This pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Brendan Little into the game. The lefty deals to Brent Rooker and misses low. Ball 1. Blue Jays 11, A's 5. It was 6-5 at one point because of a Rooker 2-run double in the 5th. But Toronto with 5 unanswered since. 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Now, this is about the lowest leverage spot that Brendan Little has had in a long time. Their highest leverage lefty. You could argue one of their 2 or 3 highest leverage pitchers overall. Speaking his 27th appearance, 1.5 ERA, 2-0. Inside, 3 balls, no strikes.
I would say this is a test for Brendan Little because in this situation, you're up by 6 runs. It's the top of the 8th inning. just throw strikes. And that's something he's struggled with this season. Although his stuff's very good, his numbers are very good, he has struggled just throwing strikes.
3-0 is on the inner third, strike one. Gets such violent movement on the sinker, cutter, and curve. Sometimes it feels like even if he is aimed down the middle, it won't land there. Little's 3-1. Hit on the ground is short. Bichette circles around it, picks it up, tosses over to first. Backhanded dig by Vladdy, and there's one out.
And that's all he really has to do. In this situation, just throw that sinker right down the middle, let it work. And I'm sure Athletics hitters will just hit ground balls that just like that last one for out number one.
One reason the Blue Jays might be using Little in this spot, because it is a bit unusual, they don't have a starter named for tomorrow. Looks like it'll be a bullpen day for Toronto. First pitch to Soderstrom bounces before the plate, ball one. And the Blue Jays had a bullpen day just 2 games ago. On the 28th, they threw one. So this spot where you'd usually use a long guy, maybe they want to protect your Schultz, Lauer, Reynias of the world a little bit more. 1-0, down and away, 2-0.
Schultz, Lauer, Braden Fisher tomorrow?
I mean, that's how they rolled it out last time.
Sounds good to me.
Now, it would be 3 days rest, but you're not asking anyone to go too deep. 2-0 in the dirt ball 3. However, I walked into the clubhouse today before the game, and I saw a face that I hadn't seen in about a month. And that was the face of Easton Lucas, who has not been activated, but is on the taxi squad right now. 3-0. Called a strike, 3-1. Schneider did not commit, John Schneider, to whether Lucas would start or factor in tomorrow or not. He said it depends on what happens with the pitching staff today. 3-1 pitch. Called a strike. Full count.
Which means it sounds like Easton Lucas is going to pitch tomorrow.
Probably. I mean, we'll see. But I would lean that way if he's up. 3-2 offering. Down and away, ball 4. 1 out walk, 11-5 Blue Jays, top of the 8th. Now, the Blue Jays haven't used any of those long guys, so maybe they say, okay, if we haven't used those guys, then we don't make the roster move, and we just keep Easton Lucas up. Because in theory, if they're bringing Lucas onto the roster, it's probably at the expense of one of the Lauer, Schultz, Ureñas of the world. Pitch to Shea Langoliers is chopped toward third. Picked up Barger. Throws to second one. Clement to first. Inning-ending double play. Brendan Little erases the 1 out walk, getting the ground ball to Barger. Faces the minimum in a scoreless top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays up 11-5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news. Spring fashion is heating up at tsc.ca with a wave of top brands and new styles. I'm here with one happy shopper. What did you score?
Oh, where do I start? New designer heels from Ron White, a cute Hillary McMillan jacket, a stunning Avera diamond bracelet, everything I need for spring.
And what's the damage report on your wallet?
Oh, I split all my purchases into interest-free Easy Pay payments. No damage to report here.
Shop now, pay over time. I love it. Discover the latest spring fashion at tsc.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Francis kicks and delivers. Called strike 3, 95.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Later stages of this ball game. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays are leading the Athletics 11-5. New pitcher on the hill for the A's. Second day in a row, we see the converted starter, now lefty reliever, Hogan Harris. His pitch to Miles Straw is swatted foul down the right side into the seats. 0-1. Mid-90s four-seamer, curve and change for Harris, a third rounder in 2018 by the A's out of Louisiana Lafayette. 0-1 is low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitching change, by the way, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 1-1. Pounded into the ground, foul, 1-2. Louisiana Lafayette, home of one of the great sports team nicknames in college sports, in my mind. The Ragin' Cajuns. They have angry hot peppers on their jerseys. 1-2 pitch. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Ragin' Cajuns sounds like a minor league baseball team.
It does. But they were way out in front of it.
Yeah.
I feel like minor league teams have made their names a lot funkier the last 5-10 years. Ragin' Cajuns have been around a while. 2-2 hit foul, still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, I understand the Cajuns, but what makes them raging?
Well, I think in sport they're raging, you know. They bring that emotion to the court or the diamond or the field. 2-2 from Harris. Bounces to the plate, ball 3. He's a local guy from Lafayette. And his mom, Tiffany, actually played softball for the Ragin' Cajuns in the mid-90s. Harris has bounced back and forth, starting and coming out of the pen. His 3-2 is inside, ball 4. It's another walk in this game for A's pitching. There really is no way to sugarcoat it. This A's team is not throwing enough strikes right now. Their bullpen coming into this game was walking over 5 guys per 9 innings. Worst in the majors.
Well, in the Rays series, when the Jays were in Tampa, the Rays threw a lot of balls and they walked a fair number of guys, but it's a different situation because
first pitch to Lucas up high, ball 1.
That Rays bullpen, that Rays starting rotation, they have the stuff to be able to get out of tough situations. This Athletics team just doesn't have that.
Pitch home to Lucas, called a strike. 1-1 with a runner on first, nobody out, bottom 8.
So you have to be in the strike zone. You have to throw strikes. And fortunately, the Blue Jays are taking advantage of that.
1-1. Outside 2-1. The Rays relievers 6th in baseball in terms of their average fastball velocity, around 96. The A's give up more than a mile per hour to what the Rays were doing. 2-1. Called a strike, 2-2. And that's amazing in a way. It's kind of amazing the A's are 17th in terms of reliever fastball velocity because they have the hardest throwing pitcher in baseball, Mason Miller.
I was going to say that seems surprising, but Miller is the one that adds to that.
Yeah. 2-2, outside, ball 3. And that factors everyone who's pitched for them at any point this year. They do have some injuries. Jose Leclerc was a big ad for them in the offseason. He is down right now. with a lat strain on the 60-day. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Harris bounces back, going left on left. He strikes out Lucas, and there's one out. But yeah, for the Rays, it felt like intentional in a way. You have these effectively wild guys. They throw a million, or their slider moves 8 feet. But there's just been a lot of walks from the A's. Starters and relievers, not just to talk about the relievers. In this series, the starters have walked guys too. Bo Bichette takes down an in, ball 1. As much as there's more stuff valued in the game today rather than the control guys, 1-0, inside 2-0, it's really hard to win if you're walking a lot of guys.
Oh, it's impossible.
Because you make every hit matter so much more. 2-0. Low ball 3. We've talked about it, how difficult it is to string together hits in today's game. Well, if you walk twice, you only need 1 hit in an inning to score a run, and you might get multiple runs on that hit. 3-0. Called a strike, 3-1. Harris is the 6th pitcher so far for the Athletics today. They threw 5 yesterday. 3-1. Lifted down the right field line. That's fading toward foul territory out of play, and it will hit off the netting. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I have to say, I mean, it's really impressive just how good that Rays pitching staff is. And not in terms of numbers, because I know their numbers aren't outstanding, but those arms are just incredible. It's almost like they're capable of just walking the bases loaded and then getting out of it because their stuff is just so good.
And the Rays are top 5 in bullpen ERA in baseball. Blue Jays are top 10. 3-2. Lined right side, base hit for Bo Bichette. Up to second base goes Miles Straw. 3rd time on base for Bichette today in 6 tries.
And another inside-out swing. It was a tough fastball on the inside part of the plate. And just like he did in his last at-bat, Bo Bichette just inside-outs it. It's a good line drive to right field for another base hit in the ball game.
First and second for the Blue Jays. 1 out. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. back up. He hasn't had that many opportunities to hit. He's 1 for 2. He's been walked 3 times. A look at second by Harris. He delivers home. And Vladdy with a big hack and a miss. Swung over top of that curve. 0-1.
I was just thinking in my head, he's tired of walking right now. He wants to take a big hack. And that first pitch,
why not?
He was all over it.
0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. What's funny, Ernie Clement admitted after the game yesterday, so he had those 2 extra base hits in an inning. He first had a 3-run homer, then he came up with the bases loaded and doubled. He said on the double, he was selling out as much as he could to hit a home run. Oh-2. Called strike 3. Vladdy knew it right away, turned back, and headed back to the dugout, shaking his head, but I think out of frustration more for himself. That fastball hit the outer edge. Pretty good pitch. 2 down.
He was fooled by that pitch right there. Not expecting a 4-seamer. Well, I mean, we're seeing the replay now. That was almost right down the middle. You can bet that Vlad wants that one back.
2 on, 2 out. Pitch to George Springer. Foul back, 0-1. Springer with a hit today. He's 1 for 4. He's driven in a pair of runs, 1 on a sac fly and 1 on that single. Harris offers. Springer swings and misses. And it's 0-2. (11-5) Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. Bichette on first and Straw on second, the 0-2. Fouled back. Grunt from Harris there as he delivered home. 94 with the heater up top. Springer just rolled it back into the netting.
Harris actually has a pretty good arm. 93 to 95 with that 4-seamer. It's pretty good for a lefty.
0-2. in the dirt with the curve. You know, mostly multi-inning reliever role at this point. Harris has been up and down twice so far this year with the A's. His 1-2. Curveball hit foul. Harris made the A's out of spring, but got optioned in AAA still within the month of March, made one appearance and then went down. 1-2. Lined left side foul.
Boy, it was all over that four-seamer. Thing was on the inner third, and George Springer jumped all over it, just missing a double and an RBI.
I think he might have been guessing on that pitch, and if he was, he guessed right. Still a 1-2 count. Straw on second and Bichette on first. Harris rocks and delivers. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ben, what giveaway do you like more, this City Connect Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hockey jersey or the Springer one last year, the powder blue?
I'm kind of a sucker for powder blue, but I like them both. I, like you, am a bobblehead guy. That's my main giveaway I look for. 2-2 fouled back, still 2-2. What do you think? What do you like more?
I like the powder blue.
It's hard to go wrong with powder blue.
There's just a giant Toronto Blue Jays logo on the front. I'm a sucker for that logo.
But I wouldn't have wanted this in powder blue. I'm happy there's 2 colors now. 2-2. Foul to the right, still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I think next year you do a white jersey to kind of complete the collection. Ernie Clement hockey jersey. As far as I'm aware, the only guy on this team that actually played hockey.
Did George Springer not play hockey?
2-2. Springer takes inside ball 3. I don't believe so. He's a Hartford Whalers fan growing up.
Oh, he's just a fan. I thought that was the big deal. That's why it was the hockey jersey last year, the Springer hockey.
But I know Clement played hockey. Runners will be off on the 3-2. It's down and in ball 4, and the inning continues. A walk to load the bases. Harris has thrown 33 pitches in this inning, and he's walked 2 batters.
I like that idea. Hopefully the right people are listening right now. Maybe we get some an Ernie Clement white hockey jersey. What's going to be on the front?
I guess just the Blue Jays logo.
Nah, that's boring.
Like a Leafs collab kind of thing?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're thinking.
Mound visit right now. It's Mark Kotze out there talking to his pitcher, but he hasn't made a point to the bullpen. Anthony Maldonado is up. Now, Harris has thrown over 30 in the inning, but I think if you're Kotze in the A's, you'd really like him to finish this inning and not use another guy. They're already in a position where they could very realistically need to make a move just to get some fresh arms up for tomorrow. So using another guy would just exacerbate that even further.
Kotze is a little bit like Ron Washington in the fact that he'll walk out to the mound. You're not really sure what he's going to do. He'll make a late point out to the bullpen, or he won't even take the pitcher out.
Didn't that time. Bases loaded. Kirk is up, 2 outs, bottom 8. The pitch. High, ball 1. Hogan Harris has faced 5 batters in this inning. He's gone to a full count with 4 of them. Ironically, his most efficient was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Now the 1-0 misses up and away, 2-0.
You think Kirk's getting big here? I'm getting big. If I'm Alejandro Kirk, I'm getting big. 2-0, 2 outs, bases loaded. Let's go.
Here's the pitch. Check swing. Called a strike. Pretty good pitch right on the inside corner, bottom of the zone. 2-1.
Tough pitch to get big on.
Yeah. Tied him up. Straw on third, Bichette on second, and Springer on first. The 2-1. Fouled back. Got fairly big there, but he was jammed. on the inner half, 2-2.
That's pretty big right there. Down to one knee, a little bit like George Springer does.
He's done that a couple times today. I wonder if he's just starting to work that into his game a little bit. 2-2 count and 2 outs. 11-5 Blue Jays. Bottom 8 with the bases loaded. Harris sets at the belt. And the pitch to Kirk. Line drive, right field, and a diving catch by Butler to end the inning. The Blue Jays do not score despite a hit and 2 walks. They leave the bases loaded, and we go to the 9th. Toronto 11, the Athletics 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Explore a world of groundbreaking independent music and emerging artists. On a channel where pioneers like Pavement, The Strokes, and Beach House play alongside the artists shaping the sound of this moment. Find independent music curated for the curious on SiriusXMU. Channel 35 and outside the car with the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 9th inning is brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites. Only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian. Blue Jays 11, A's 5. Top of the 9th, Chad Green is on, and his first pitch to C.J. Alexander called a strike. 0-1. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Chad Green with an ERA at 3.5, 23 1/3 innings this year. He's striking out about a batter an inning, and he's only walked 6. Right-hander kicks, offers, and misses high with a four-seamer. For Green, it's mostly four-seam slider, very occasional sinker that he started to work on in spring training. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Threw the fastball outside. Got the whiff there from Alexander, and there's 1 out in the 9th.
That's a pretty good velo on that fastball there. You can tell that he's fresh right now. Good downward angle, 96 miles an hour for the strikeout.
Last time Green pitched was in the Blue Jays' Game 2 loss of the Texas series. Righty now offers to Logan Davidson. It's fouled off 0-1. Davidson, the second baseman today, and a switch hitter from a good baseball family. Logan's dad, Mark, was an outfielder in the 80s, split his time between Houston and Minnesota. 0-1. Hit on the ground to second, backhanded Ernie Clement. Stops, throws to first. Davidson retired, 2 down.
He is just so smooth over there. The guy can play anywhere on the infield, probably even the outfield. Makes that tough play going up the middle and throwing across his body right to Vladimir's chest.
I mean, he has played the outfield, and he's also the emergency catcher on this team.
I don't want to see that.
I talked to him. I don't think he wants to see that, but he's willing to do it. 2 outs, pitch to Miguel Andujar is rocked. Right center field. Going back, Varsho at the warning track. That ball off the top of the wall. Throw going into the cutoff man, Clement, as Andujar gets to second with a double. It's a real nice swing.
I'm okay with that as long as you're just filling up the strike zone. You're up by 6 with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Just keep throwing that 4-seamer, keep throwing that slider in the strike zone.
Blue Jays clearly trying to preserve their longer relievers for an expected bullpen day or maybe an Easton Lucas spot start day tomorrow. Pitch now to Denzel Clark, called a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to be in that ball game tomorrow.
They have not used any of Schultz, Urania, Fisher, or Lauer today. And Jeff Hoffman. 0-1. Swing and a miss. With the slider, Green gets ahead of Clark, 0-2. Blue Jays with a constant stream of runs in this game, up 11-5. They got 3 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth. The 0-2, just outside. Now Chad Green trying to finish it off with nearly 37,000 on their feet and clapping in Toronto. Runner on second, 2 down. The 1-2 is flicked out to right. Dive by Clement. It's past him down in right field. Coming around third, and Andujar scores. And the Torontonian Denzel Clark picks up his second hit of the game and his first career Major League RBI.
Well, Ernie Clement is slow to get up after trying to catch that line drive in the hole on the right side. Hopefully he's okay, but Denzel Clark continues to do well. It's his best ball game as a big leaguer tonight.
Had 1 hit coming into tonight, has 2 knocks in this game. It's 11-6 Blue Jays as Lawrence Butler comes up, and the top of the order hitter takes low, ball 1. Crowd getting loud again after the brief quiet. 1-0. Clark will take off for second. Swing and a miss. Blue Jays give it to him on defensive indifference. It's 1-1, and now Clark in scoring position. Butler 1 for 3 with a walk. The pitch. Check swing. It was high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Toronto looking to get back above 500. 2-1. Foul back, and again the Athletics down to their final strike. It's 2-2. Fans back on their feet. Denzel Clark on second, Lawrence Butler at the dish. 2 outs, 2 balls, and 2 strikes is the count, with Toronto leading 11-6 in the 9th. The pitch home. Outside, ball 3. Green set. Glove at his stomach. Kicks. Offers. And the 3-2 line to right center. Down in the gap, a base hit. Clark around third. He'll score. Butler taking off for second. Here comes the throw, and he dives in head first safe with an RBI double.
And you have to remember there's still 2 outs in this inning. The Blue Jays are up by 4 runs now. Might be time to start mixing up, maybe throwing that slider below the strike zone, but Lawrence Butler does a good job just staying right on that 4-seamer and drilling it into the gap in right center for an RBI. 11-7 now in the ballgame.
I mean, you can certainly understand Chad Green not wanting to walk him there with the deficit. The fastball was pretty much right down the middle, and Butler's a really good hitter. He's got 2 hits today. He's batting around .350 over the last couple weeks. He makes the Blue Jays pay, and this game continues. Toronto has Jeff Hoffman stretching, and probably just a light toss for now. Don't want to get him hot unless they need to. Jacob Wilson up. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. 11-7 Blue Jays. Runner on second. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. One-0. Swing and a fly ball left field. Coming in, Straw makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the game. An offensive outburst today. 11 runs for Toronto. 11-7 the final score.
Well, the Athletics pitching staff walked 11 batters in this ball game. The Blue Jays took advantage of it. Ernie Clement had 4 hits in this ball game, continues to swing the bat really, really well. 7 hits in the last 2 games. I'm really impressed with what he's doing. A great win and a great game, at least offensively, for the Toronto Blue Jays.
We will take a quick step aside, wrap it up for you, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
10 Ks today for Kevin Gausman in 7 scoreless innings.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Miles Straw just got an ice bath, and the Blue Jays just beat the Athletics 11-7 to take the first 2 of the 4-game series. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Appreciate you sticking with us. Blue Jays talk coming up in just a matter of moments. Chris, obviously this game for both sides went more towards the bats succeeding than the pitchers with the 11-7 score. And yes, the A's have struggled to pitch, but today the Blue Jays went up against maybe the toughest A's starter in Jeffrey Springs, the lefty. And pretty early on, they punished Springs for some mistakes, namely the boatload of walks in the second inning.
Well, I think that's the most important thing. When you look back at this ball game, is that the Blue Jays took advantage of what the Athletics pitching staff was giving them. 11 walks in this ball game. There was traffic almost in every single inning, at least from the Blue Jays' point of view, and the Blue Jays made them pay. They went up there with an idea of what they wanted to do. They now have 23 runs on 33 hits in the last 2 games. That is incredible, especially coming from Texas and coming from Tampa, when the Blue Jays offense essentially did nothing. So now they are just seeing the ball well. They have a completely different approach, and the most impressive thing again is that they're taking advantage of the mistakes that the A's are giving them.
You even look back to that San Diego series where they did hit well. They're getting pretty close to passing the total runs they had in that series already, and we've only played 2 games. They had 24 runs total in the San Diego series, and it's come from a lot of different guys. I mean, you're not going to score 20 runs in 2 games on the back of 1 or 2 players, but one guy has really stood out. He's today's player of the game, Ernie Clement. The 1-1. Swing and a deep fly ball. Left field. Haven's back at the track. Looking up. It's out of here. Who is this guy? Ernie Clement with his 4th extra base hit in the last 2 days. He's left the yard again. Euro steps around Carlos Fabulous. It's 4-2 Blue Jays.
Well, Ernie Clement was 4 for 5 today with a home run and RBI. He has 8 base hits in his last 3 ball games. And not only that, he made a couple of nice plays in the field. He is doing it all. He's so fun to watch. He did that Euro step, rounding second base in between second and third, probably making fun of Vlad just a little bit, but he's such a fun player to watch. He's the kind of guy that I want on my roster. I feel like every good team needs a guy like Ernie Clement.
Well, you know what, Chris? I will give you the story on why he's doing some of the Vlad stuff tomorrow. You should join us then when the Blue Jays and the A's face off again at 3:07. We don't have a named starter yet for the Blue Jays, but we do know the A's will start former Blue Jays first-rounder Gunnar Hoagland. So that will be an interesting one to watch for sure. Today, the Blue Jays win 11-7, 7 runs on 10 hits for the A's, no errors, 4 left. 11 runs on 15 hits for the Blue Jays, 1 error, 14 left. Chris Bassett with the win, he's 5-3. Jeffrey Springs with the loss is 5-4, no save. 2-hour, 58-minute game in front of about 37,000, and the Blue Jays win. Makes them 29-28, above 500. The A's fall to 23-35. They've lost their last 4. Again, we'll be back 3:07 Eastern tomorrow, first pitch. Thanks so much for tuning in today. For Tom Young and Christian Chiniti, our technical directors, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Roger Lajoie, our host, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night, and stick around. It's another winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Parker. It starts right now.
11 walks. The Athletics tonight, leading to 4 runs. Compare this offensive outburst to last night's offensive outburst.
Yeah, I think it's about the same. Look, tonight I think they took advantage of, hit it where it's pitched kind of thing. We haven't been seeing a ton of that. They were laying off the ball that was a little off the plate away. They were forcing any pitcher that was on the mound to throw it on the plate, which is, key. I've been saying this forever. If you let the pitcher throw it down the middle, sooner or later he'll do it. Now, a lot of the hits they got were decent pitches. They were catching a bunch at the plate, but, if it was away, they hit it the other way. If it was down and away, they would hit it to center. Like, if it was a hang and split finger, they would hit it to the moon. If it was a cutter and a hitter's count that was a little middle up, they're bridging that. They're going back leg city. So it was basically you get in a hitter's count, you get a good pitch to hit, you hit it where it's pitched, right? That, I think, was the key there. Now, again, I just don't know what you read into this, right? Mm-hmm. You're facing guys who are not, a lot of the times breaking eggs when it comes to Oakland, or, hey, I did it. Look at you.
There you go.
Well, you forced me into doing it.
That's all right.
Yeah. So it's, the A's are, when it comes to their pitching staff as a whole, it's just, I guess, there's a couple of guys down there who throw hard, and then there's everybody else. But, doesn't take anything away from what the Blue Jays are doing. They're, 1 through 9. Other than Varsho, most guys had some quality at bats and were doing things that they were supposed to be doing. They got enough pitching from their starter. Bassett early on looked to me like he was forcing velocity. I mean, he's grunting really, really loud, which is very odd. It's rare that we ever hear him. He'll grunt occasionally in those big moments, but every pitch looked to me like he was trying to throw a little harder, which it was. The cutter velocity was up. The sinker velocity was up. The curve was okay. Occasionally when he did get hurt, it was command of the two-seamer. It was two-seaming more than it was sinking. But when you're scoring this amount of runs, you just keep them around. You give the lineup a chance to get back in there and start having some more quality at bats, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, this is what you do against these teams like this. You get confident. And I think this is what the lineup's doing. This is what the pitching staff's doing. Jay's been playing great defense all year. So don't expect anything different tomorrow or the next day either.
Yeah, this does. Again, it's always hard to think of sweeping a 4-game series, but this, at least from a distance, seemed to be the toughest pitching matchup. Or I should say, you were facing a pitcher in Jeffrey Springs who has had a certain amount of success against you in the past. I'm not saying that it's clear sailing the rest of the way, but I think if you looked at the matchup, this one was the one that you may have circled a little bit as being difficult. But Jeffrey Springs was gone after 2+. there's been a lot going on in these two games, a lot in the base paths, a lot in the field. But it's kind of, through two games, almost become the Ernie Clement / Addison Barger series. Ernie Clement, again, and 4 hits tonight, another home run. Addison Barger, 3 runs scored, a home run, and, a defense that we've almost come to take for granted at third base. I mean, I was trying to figure out, there was, it was a Davidson in the 6th inning where he dove for the ball, came up, and, I mean, it's like he didn't, there was no rush, there was nothing. It was just like, it was really remarkable. It's almost like he double clutched and then threw and got the guy. He's just got such a good arm, man.
Well, yeah, with what Clement's doing and what Barger's starting to do, be interesting to see when Jimenez get back how John handles it.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I don't know how you keep these two dudes out of the lineup. Now, again, you're facing the sort of pitching you're facing with the A's that you won't normally face.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting Phillies next. You're going to get Fuego.
You got Phillies, you got Twinkies, you got Cardinals. Yeah. Phillies and Twins are going to run some velo at you. Right?
Absolutely. So, can you continue to have the quality at bats that you're having now? You're all of a sudden confident, like passing the baton with having the at bat that, when it's pitched the way I hit it away. If it's down the middle, I can do whatever. If it's a hanger, I hit that thing to the moon. Like, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do on the pitch and the location that you're supposed to be doing it in. Can you just do that when it's added 4 or 5 miles an hour to it? But who cares? Right now they're doing it. It's a lot of fun to watch, and they look confident and having fun.
They certainly have looked confident through the 2 games of this series after that difficult swing in Tampa and Texas. Jen in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Oh, hi. One thing, I heard the interview with Denzel Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad he did well tonight. And
that was a terrific catch. That really was.
Yeah, well, he has a lot of action there. Second thing, I mean, let's go pitching independent because it doesn't count with Oakland. But my partner and I have watched ball since 77.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 times we in unison went, whoa, was when Barger threw over the first.
Yep.
It's like, holy cow. Just leave him there. Let him, he's not Chapman now, but let him flourish or do something, because those are 2 of the more exciting moments in the last 2 weeks of Jays baseball. And that's all I can say. I don't know where Jimenez fits in when he comes back, but Barger is, I don't know how he'll hit. I know we don't hit fast pitching and all that, but those are exciting plays. And we have few and far between.
Jen, I appreciate the call. I'll tell you what, I would love Addison Barger to hit, because I am with you. I love watching him play defense. We've been spoiled at third base over the, couple of years here. I mean, between Josh, who was a pretty good third baseman, until his, skills started to deteriorate. We had Scott Rowland here for a little bit as well. We've had Matt Chapman here, so we've had some pretty good defense at third base. And yeah, I mean, look, I think Kevin's probably right here in that this is great right now, but the Phillies are a different kettle of fish completely to the Athletics. But I don't know. I mean, if it's a righty on the mound, Kevin, I have a hard time not leaving Clement and Barger in there if they're scoring runs and if they're hitting. I mean, I know there's this whole thing that you don't necessarily lose your job when you're injured, but I mean, I don't. Luckily these things tend to take care of themselves, don't they?
It does. Well, you got to remember, too, Jimenez is making a ton of money. The Jays, it's not the cheapest of players. And, sort of Ernie is that rover. You know, he can play third, he can play short, he can play first, he can play second. Like, he can do a bunch of things. So I'm sure if he keeps hitting, John will find a place for him, either DHing a guy, him playing the field. Like, he'll get him on the field somehow to where you can have Jimenez, Ernie, and Barger on the field all at the same time because of who's DH. And John will figure it out. If somebody's hitting, he's going to figure it out. But to Jen's point, and she made a great point about Barger. You know, Barger in his last 30 games is hitting almost 300. He's slugging almost 500. Like, just the at-bats, like tonight, he had a couple of walks, he hit a big one. Like, that's what sort of, you know, what a guy who can run produce. Now, I'm not saying he's there yet because he does have holes, because he does take a lot of Big Daddy hacks, but he's toned that down enough to where, you know, he's a competitive at-bat. He's got an idea what he's trying to do. He can use most of the big part of the field. You know, we've seen him go down the left field line. We've seen him hit line drives, back spin to left center field. We've seen him hit a homer on a hanging split finger. Like, he can go line to line. He can do some things. He can hit velocity, right? He's just sort of learning what not to swing at, you know, how to ambush. That's a big part of a young kid's game. You know, he's toned down some things when it just comes to, I think he feels like now he don't have to take those kind of swings, right? He keeps the front shoulder in, and it's nice and direct because he has tremendous bat speed. He's going to catch up to most things. So, yeah, I think Jen, again, makes a tremendous point. Keep him on the field. Let him figure it out. And, again, him being a right-handed thrower and a left-handed hitter, so he can play third. I mean, that's a benefit to the organization. You said this, I think, about a month ago. You know, what if they found their third baseman now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool,
big question.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, it takes pressure off the front office to try and get creative, which we all know sometimes they're not real good at.
No, and, you know, if you can have a cost-effective third baseman who's going to play good defense, give you some power, and he's your own guy, you know, I mean, we've talked about it. This is an organization that needs good organizational stories, and Addison Barger's a guy that they drafted, signed, rode the development curve with, and I'm with you. You know, you said this about 3 or 4 weeks ago. You talked about Barger, and you said you wanted to see more of him because you thought there was something there worth seeing. Like it. Sometimes I find this organization tries to sell us on players. And I don't think they tried to sell us necessarily on Barger.
You know what the beauty of him is? He can slug against velocity, which they don't have a ton of that.
Yep.
They really don't have that. And he's one of the guys because he's left-handed and he's got a quick swing, right? I mean, for me, it's not always a hard swing. It's about how quick you can swing it, right? How short it is, where your hand direction's at. You know, how long the barrel stays in the zone, which gives you a chance to cover north and south. So, yeah, and, you know, that what Jen's talking about, how excited it is to watch him throw it across the diamond. Yeah. I'm with her. I mean, it is. It's a lot of fun. Dude's got a cannon, and he ain't afraid to use it all the time, which is pretty awesome.
Guy in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk. Well, you were on Blue Jays Talk, Guy. Brendan in Edmonton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Good evening, guys. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the bottom of the lineup and the quality approaches they were having today. I know it's like the Athletics or pitching staff is not very good and struggled to throw strikes clearly today on pretty much everybody that they put out there. But there's something to be said about being patient in those situations as well. And today they really were that. And aggressive on the stuff that they needed to hit, right? I mean, what is it? The 33 hits in the last 2 games? I know Ernie's accounted for, 7 of those, all on his own, but a quality approach from those guys. And I just wanted to ask what kind of adjustments a young player has to make when they're coming up like Addison, because he struggled at great stretches of times last year when he came up. I believe I called in earlier this year and asked you what he had to do in order to get everyday playing time. And for me, he's done that over the month of May. He's almost kind of forced their hand to give him more playing time. But what kind of adjustments a young player needs to make in the off season mentally to try and lay off those bad pitches and really be aggressive on those meatballs down the center of the plate?
Yeah, it's a great call. Yeah, appreciate that. Look, I think the first thing Addison sort of went through for a little while, and Roden, I think, is going through this a little bit too, is the knowing you're a big leaguer. Like you gotta believe that you belong. And I think Addison, just by the way, he's walking on and off the field and the way he throws the ball across the diamond and the way he's not afraid now to hit with 2 strikes. He'll take a strike that normally, I don't know, say 3 weeks ago, he would have been taking a giant hack at and either popped out or grounded out, and his at bat would have been over, and optically it just wouldn't look the way it looks now. So, I think the first step is you got to believe. Looks like he's there. The next step is to get your pitch. You have to understand what you do well. He's not going to be able to cover the entire strike zone. The only way he's going to learn that is if they keep running him out there. And, I think I said this when he got called up. Just run into a couple to force John's hand because nobody else is running into a couple. And he's done that. But, everybody's oohing and ahhing over the exit velocity thing. He did enough of that to turn heads, open eyes, and get him in the lineup more. And now they can't keep him out of the lineup. So that, I think, is the biggest deal, is just knowing you're a big leaguer, and then sort of the process going forward would be what you do well. What part of the zone can you get barrel to most of the time? And for me, anyway, I think he's learning that on the fly, and he's doing a heck of a job with it.
11-7, the Blue Jays beat the Athletics tonight. They've taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series. We will step aside, come back, hear from the skipper. He had some thoughts on Chris Bassett tonight, and we'll look at the out-of-town scoreboard as well. All that ahead. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every
Cheers, Insiders! What a day, what a night, what a Blue Jays game. Thank you for being here. Now's the time of the show where I get to just stop and say thank you. Thank you so much for helping me create this amazing community of Toronto sports fans from all over the world. All over, I mean everywhere. It is absolutely amazing to see a group of people come together and make a difference. Our April donation is over $1,500 just in April alone. Just by being here, you're making a difference. And I just had to say thank you, because we are achieving huge things. Hopefully this summer, we're going to get up to Toronto to visit SickKids, maybe catch a TFC game and a Blue Jays game. We'll see. Maybe we'll see some of you there. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for keeping it classy. Thank you for helping grow this channel by doing all of that cool YouTube stuff, liking, sharing. If you're new, subscribing, turn on that bell. All that cool stuff really, really, really helps, because then we bring in more people to make a difference. Thank you. Now let's get back to the baseball. Come on, Blue Jays. Let's go.
This way.
Order pizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep, because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
wrist clear Sprite, yeah. Mike Tyson, Mike.
Hey, this is Chris Bassett. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You know, I thought Chris had good stuff. You know, you look up and his velocity was better, quick first, and just he kind of grinded it a little bit. You know, I think, you know, when you have so many weapons, I haven't talked to him, but I think he felt good.
Mid battle, we got felt a little closer than 11-7, I think, at different points. But the Jays hung on for the win, 11-7. They're now a game over 500. Time now to take a look around the AL East with Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Well, we started the night with the Yankees having a 7-game lead, 7.5 game lead atop the American League East. That was the biggest of any division leader in baseball. They are on the West Coast, taking on the Dodgers in a repeat, or I guess a rematch of the World Series. The teams are tied 1-1. It's still early in the game. I'm sure the Jays, Rays, Red Sox in particular will doing a little cheering for the Dodgers here in hopes that maybe the Yankees come back to the rest of the pack. The Red Sox beat the Atlanta Braves 5-1. Houston, they beat Tampa 2-1. They did the Jays a solid. Baltimore beat the Chicago White Sox 2-1. So the American League East standings are as follows. The Yankees 35-20. They are playing. They are 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 5 in a row. Tampa Bay is 29-28. They are 8-2 in their last 10. The Jays 29-28. Boston 28-31, and bringing up the rear, Mr. Barker's Orioles.
I don't want them
at 20-36. You got him. You got no choice in the matter. I'm relinquishing my ownership of the Orioles.
Wow, it's quick. I thought you were a Tampa Bay guy.
I've always kind of been a Tampa Bay.
You're a little all over the map, ain't you, front runner?
A little bit.
Yeah, all right. At least you're honest.
I mean, I am honest. I don't mind being a bit of a front runner.
You'll be a Yankee next week, huh?
No, that will not happen. There are two things that will not happen. I'll not be a Yankee and I'll not be a Red Sox. It's just it's not happening. It's just not. It's never going to happen.
It makes my life so much better when the Red Sox are just all over themselves. Boy,
there is something. There's something enjoyable about watching them. Yeah, there is.
Man, there is. Just they basically hate each other, and I love it.
Yeah, well, there's a train wreck element to it. What did our friend Jeff Passan say today? The Bostonness of it.
Yeah,
when he was talking about the situation with Roman Anthony, the Bostonness of it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I take a certain amount of Schadenfreude. Is that the word? I take a certain amount of happiness watching the Red Sox kind of bobbing and weaving. The Yankees, I really don't care. I've never developed a hatred for the Yankees or
they win all
an
the
immense
time.
liking for the Yankees.
That's why
they're just the Yankees.
The Red Sox are a little all over the place.
Yeah, the Yankees are going to do what they're going to do. You know, they seem to be the Yankees in general. Just seem to be a little less of a pain in the ass and a little less drama queens than the Red Sox. The Red Sox are kind of drama queens,
and they were everybody's pick to click.
Yeah, and the ballpark they play in stinks.
I like the ballpark. I went deep there. I love it.
North America's oldest open urinal. Fenway Park. Guy in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
You're back, Guy.
I'm back, man. I'm back. Wow, what a roller coaster. I mean, Tuesday, I don't think I've ever been that angry with this team after that lethargic game. And here they are, they won 3 in a row. So it's very much a roller coaster type of season we're in for, obviously. But the one underlier, I think, when you look at the numbers, the team numbers, with the Jays and all the division leaders, is their road record. If you look at they're playing 600 at home, and keep in mind, I know it's like 38% or whatever the schedule is completed, but they're playing 600 at home. They're playing just above 400 on the road, and they're a 500 baseball team. If you look at all the division leaders, it's their way they play on the road, and I think that's something that the Jays need to improve on is their road record. They need to get to 500 on the road if they really want to be taken seriously to do anything. Even some of the wild card teams, you look at them, unless you're a team like Minnesota who doesn't lose at home but can't win on the road, it seems to be the big underlier. So I just want to know your thoughts on, if it's too early to make that assumption, and then just to go on what Berger was saying about, or I said Barger. What you guys were saying? Yeah, Barker. Thanks.
I'll take it.
A few more homers, and we'll be able to get them confused.
So just to piggyback on that, because that's what I was originally calling on. Obviously, you can't take Barger out of the lineup. He's got to stay in there. But I mean, Clement against lefties is like Babe Ruth. I mean, or not Babe Ruth, but maybe Wade Boggs. But do you possibly, and I know you touched on it, you possibly do a lefty righty type of thing with Jimenez and Clement? And I know Barker, you'll say, they're paying him $20 million, you're going to play that guy, but I mean, the numbers are just outrageous. I just want to know your thoughts on that, and have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks, Guy. Thanks for the call. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you, because I think we're probably on the same page.
Well, I think they play the hot hand. If Jimenez comes back and looks like the Jimenez before he went on the IL, he ain't playing a ton. Like John, I think he'll play enough that, he'll keep Jimenez happy, and, there won't be no tension in the clubhouse. But if he ain't hitting, I mean, every chance John gets to, to flip flop those two guys or get the hottest hand in the lineup, John's going to do it. I mean, you got to give John credit. John's doing whatever it takes to flip that lineup on its end to get the most out of it. He's ringing that thing as much as he possibly can. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great point by Guy. Guy's paying attention. Now, the road record, I just don't think you can look at that yet, because the big guys in the lineup are not, just doing their thing yet. I mean, they basically winning all these games up until the last couple of days with the bottom of the order.
Well, and without Anthony Santander winning the IL today, but I mean, he didn't really write himself too large over last night's game either. So
no, yeah. So I think that's sort of, to Guy's point or question, I think you got to let that play out a little bit. If they can be 10 or 12 above 500, make, the home stadium tough to come in and play. They hit a bunch of homers. They're confident there and could just fight and claw and force their way to 500 on the road. I think they're a playoff team doing it that way.
That to me is, further to Guy's point, I think it's hugely important this team sort of try to regain a home field advantage, try to regain a little bit of the swagger. I don't know if they're ever going to have 2015, 2016 swagger. I doubt it. We may not see a team like that for a while.
Well, Donaldson's not on the team.
No, exactly. But at least turn the Rogers Center into an uncomfortable environment for teams.
Sure.
And I will be very interested in seeing what happens if they end up sweeping the Athletics and the Phillies come into town after an off day. I'll be interested in seeing what they show against the Phillies. Because that to me is that's if this thing goes the way it looks like it's going to go, that will be a telltale series for me. You'll have had a day off. You'll have your rotation lined up. Your bullpen will be rested. You've got Jimenez back, hopefully. Eric Swanson's here, so we'll get a better sense, I think, of this team in those three games. I'm really looking forward to those three games. I think those three games are merging. Maybe not the biggest three games of the year, but I think we'll learn a little more about this team over those three games.
Yeah, that's what Dan Shulman said today too when we had him on our show. Was look at the Phillies games. That'll be an important way to figure out who you are as a team. I think Vladdy's timing's getting better. That's going to help.
Well, Chris Bassett was asked about his outing tonight, and not surprisingly, Chris Bassett had some thoughts about his outing tonight.
Yeah, again, emotions are raw right now, and I don't really want to overstep and say something I really don't mean. So, I don't exactly know what is causing all the issues. So something's got to be fixed. It's been way too inconsistent of a year. Yeah, when I'm on, I'm really good, but half the time I'm off. Not eating any innings, not having quality starts. I guess you can try to make this and say I'm having a decent year, but I think I've been terrible. And it's just, I think we just have to figure out if things need to be changed or what. It's not good enough.
Well, I mean, Chris Bassett, one thing about him, he takes ownership of the situation.
Yep.
Sometimes too much ownership of the situation.
That's how he feels, though.
But I was going to say, that's how he feels right now.
He's not talking about a teammate. He's talking about himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I agree with him. I think location, I think he's trying to force velocity too. When you do that, you're grunting. Things are straighter. Things don't go where you want them to go. I think if he, most of the time when you get a little older, it's mechanical. I think all the time offensively, it's not. It's what you swing at. But when you get a little older and, it's like the Springer thing. Springer changed things, right? The way just optically he looks when he walks to the plate just looks different. Not because he wanted to, because he had to. I think that's where Chris is at. Like mechanically, just something needs to give. I don't know what that would be because they're always doing something behind the scenes that they'll never tell you about. So I'm not exactly sure what that'll be. Maybe he eliminates 2 or 3 pitches. Maybe he doesn't throw 2 different breaking balls and a split finger and 2 different heaters and a 4-seamer occasionally. Simplify that thing, man. You got 3 or 4 pitches instead of 7 or 8 pitches. Try that.
Or maybe you change up a little bit how you're calling pitches, who's calling pitches. I don't know. Maybe put Heineman back there. I'm not blaming Kirky, but I'm just saying maybe you do stuff like that. One of the issues. Yeah, maybe. One of the issues the Jays seemed to have with Bassett earlier this year was his rhythm. So they'll put their heads together. They'll come up with an answer. But hey, if your team's going to score 11 runs for you and cover your ass every now and then, it's not a bad thing either.
Yeah.
11-7, the Blue Jays have beaten the
perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just 2 teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA!
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio. Right now on Sirius XM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and online with the Sirius XM app.
But, first base is a spot now that they clearly need to figure out.
If you're looking for more interviews or news from around Major League Baseball, tune into MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM Channel 89.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Friday, May the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Reds on Internet 847. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Phillies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 860. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Chicago White Sox. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. White Sox on Internet 846. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the A's. The Jays on Sirius 121, XM 178, and Internet 868. A's on Internet 841. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the LA Angels. Guardians on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 848. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Miami Marlins face the San Francisco Giants. Marlins on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 855. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Colorado Rockies. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 858. Rockies on Internet 849. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Boston Red Sox. Braves on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 842. Red Sox on Internet 844. 8:05 p.m., Texas Rangers take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Rangers on Sirius 119, XM 183, and Internet 867. Cardinals on Internet 865. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m., Houston Astros face the Tampa Bay Rays. Astros on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 851. Rays on Internet 866. 8:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Detroit Tigers. Royals on Sirius 161, XM 182, and Internet 852. Tigers on Internet 850. 9:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Washington Nationals. Diamondbacks on Sirius 132, XM 185, and Internet 840. Nationals on Internet 869. 9:40 p.m., San Diego Padres take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Padres on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 862. Pirates on Internet 861. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers face the New York Yankees. Dodgers on Sirius 85, XM 187, and Internet 854. Yankees on Internet 859. Spanish feed on Sirius 162, XM 186, and Internet 871. 10:10 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Minnesota Twins. Mariners on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 864. Twins on Internet 857. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Friday, May the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Reds on Internet 847. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Phillies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 860. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Chicago White Sox. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. White Sox on Internet 846. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the A's. The Jays on Sirius 121, XM 178, and Internet 868. A's on Internet 841. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the LA Angels. Guardians on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 848. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Miami Marlins face the San Francisco Giants. Marlins on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 855. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Colorado Rockies. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 858. Rockies on Internet 849.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM, Channel 89.
Have the Miami Marlins found their next star in Kyle Stowers? Well, Clayton McCullough, the Marlins manager, was on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on Channel 89 to talk about how Stowers is someone you can count on.
Top-rate teammate. I think he cares about others, and I think he just does things for the right reasons. We were, talking the other day, and it's just how this game has a way of, rewarding people who just go about and do things the right way. And Dave Roberts used to always say that, and I think that's Kyle. That he shows up. I think he took a lot of lessons from last year and his previous stints in the big leagues, with just kind of honestly where he was and what it was going to take for him to be able to survive here. And so between him and our hitting coaches, and again, they worked on, trying to address some of the top of the zone velocity, and he just embraced it and went to work. And he just keeps his head down. He's someone you can count on. He's dependable. So, I'd say trustworthy, hardworking, blue collar, and those are things that kind of sum up Kyle Stowers for me. And just he's diligent.
That was Clayton McCullough on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on Channel 89 discussing how Kyle Stowers could be the next star for the Miami Marlins. If you want more interviews or news from around Major League Baseball, make sure to check out MLB Network Radio on Channel 89.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio. SiriusXM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Friday, May the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Reds on Internet 847. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Phillies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 860. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Chicago White Sox. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. White Sox on Internet 846. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the A's. The Jays on Sirius 121, XM 178, and Internet 868. A's on Internet 841. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the LA Angels. Guardians on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 848. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Miami Marlins face the San Francisco Giants. Marlins on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 855. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Colorado Rockies. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 858. Rockies on Internet 849. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Boston Red Sox. Braves on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 842. Red Sox on Internet 844. 8:05 p.m., Texas Rangers take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Rangers on Sirius 119, XM 183, and Internet 867. Cardinals on Internet 865. Spanish Feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m., Houston Astros face the Tampa Bay Rays. Astros on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 851. Rays on Internet 866. 8:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Detroit Tigers. Royals on Sirius 161, XM 182, and Internet 852. Tigers on Internet 850. 9:40 p.m., Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Washington Nationals. Diamondbacks on Sirius 132, XM 185, and Internet 840. Nationals on Internet 869. 9:40 p.m., San Diego Padres take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Padres on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 862. Pirates on Internet 861. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers face the New York Yankees. Dodgers on Sirius 85, XM 187, and Internet 854. Yankees on Internet 859. Spanish Feed on Sirius 162, XM 186, and Internet 871. 10:10 p.m., Seattle Mariners take on the Minnesota Twins. Mariners on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 864. Twins on Internet 857. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Friday, May the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Reds on Internet 847. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Phillies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 860. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Chicago White Sox. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. White Sox on Internet 846. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the A's. The Jays on Sirius 121, XM 178, and Internet 868. A's on Internet 841. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the LA Angels. Guardians on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 848. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Miami Marlins face the San Francisco Giants. Marlins on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 855. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Colorado Rockies. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 858. Rockies on Internet 849.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
Is the National League West the best division in baseball? Well, Xavier Scruggs from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89 thinks all of those teams will get stronger over time.
When I think about that division, it's more so about certainty from the rosters, right? Like, you know what you're going to get from those teams. Now, the Padres took a little bit of a step back, got swept, but at the same time, this is a division in which no matter who you play outside of the Rockies, it is going to be a tough battle. Like, whether it be pitching, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, base run, all four of those teams do everything correctly. And they possibly might all be getting better too. So that's the thing, is like, we're still in the beginning of the season. These teams are still ultimately figuring out who they are and trying to figure out roles as well. We're talking about the closer role with the Giants. These teams will get stronger over time.
That was host Xavier Scruggs from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on Channel 89, talking about the National League West Division in Major League Baseball. If you want to hear more interviews or news from around the league and baseball world, make sure to check out MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Friday, May the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Cincinnati Reds. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 845. Reds on Internet 847. 6:45 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Phillies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 860. Brewers on Internet 856. 7:05 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Chicago White Sox. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. White Sox on Internet 846. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays take on the A's. The Jays on Sirius 121, XM 178, and Internet 868. A's on Internet 841. 7:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians face the LA Angels. Guardians on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 848. Angels on Internet 853. 7:10 p.m., Miami Marlins face the San Francisco Giants. Marlins on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 855. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m., New York Mets face the Colorado Rockies. Mets on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 858. Rockies on Internet 849. 7:15 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Boston Red Sox. Braves on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 842. Red Sox on Internet 844. 8:05 p.m., Texas Rangers take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Rangers on Sirius 119, XM 183, and Internet 867. Cardinals on Internet 865. Spanish Feed on Internet 870. 8:10 p.m., Houston Astros face the Tampa Bay Rays. Astros on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 851. Rays on Internet 866. 8:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Detroit Tigers. Royals on Sirius 161,